All right, Scum and Villainy, let's give it up for Fat Man Beyond with Kevin Smith and Marc Bernardin.
Hey! Merry Christmas and welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I am Director Kevin Smith.
I am Director Marc Bernardin.
What? Just a quick fucking apology. Like, they were working on the internet, like, to get the feed up and running and stuff. And, you know, JC was like, we got it spun, it's ready to go up. I said, how long you got? He's like, a minute. I was like, a minute? He's like, a minute. I was like, that's enough time to smoke another joint. And I went out, and I just got it fucking lit. I was like, and all of a sudden Mark's like, we're going! And I fucking had to chase him here on stage. So I wasted a perfectly good joint for you people. Happy to do it, man. We are here in Hollywood, right on Hollywood Boulevard at the Scum and Villiany Cantina. Let the people at home know you are fucking real. So much to talk about, but we probably should talk about a sponsor. Is that?
We got two tonight.
Yeah.
Who do you want to do? Do you want to do Smelling Good or Dickin' Hard?
My God, it's the same exact question I asked my wife last night. I will go. Let's. You know, I mean, it's early in the evening.
It is.
Let's not go right to the clit. Let's start with the nipples.
All right.
Let's go for Smelling Good. We'll do Dick and Hard halfway through the show. When things have gotten a little loose and saucy, when you've had a few Wakanda Forevers and
when
shit.
We're all warmed up.
Yes, exactly. All right, so Smelling Good starts us off. And Smelling Good could only mean one company. The only company that gives a fuck about our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. One of two, and they're both sponsored tonight. Give it up for our sponsor, our eternal fucking sponsor, the one that makes us smell good and you smell better. Native, ladies and gentlemen. Native.
Native, DEO.com.
And sharp eyes at home will notice how quickly my eyes darted to the copy to make sure that it was native. Because as the word came out of my mouth, I was like, that's not it. And then thankfully he went native. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's like I was chasing that joint. Yeah. My brain isn't on the sponsor.
It's true. I'm still out in the fucking back alley. Native, folks. My God. I actually love this company. I used their product today before I came here and showered. I used Native fucking shampoo.
So did I. Well, no, I did the deodorant, not the shampoo.
Do you use shampoo?
I do.
You see your head.
Cling.
What do you use, like a fucking...
Like a thimbleful?
Yeah, like a dot of shampoo?
No, because I'm also still kind of 12 at heart, so I just do the whole...
Lather up.
Did you use half a bottle of shampoo? Maybe. Why?
I use shampoo like all here, and then in the middle, there's just no point whatsoever and shit. There is like, I feel like that's where, if we were in the cartoon, Bugs Bunny would be like, and
then he would take out the little strap and like,
and grow some fucking hair or flowers on the motherfucker's head, if I remember that cartoon correctly.
Indeed.
Native can practically do that. Grow flowers on your body. That's how good this shit smells, man. I can't sell this any better than the folks who write their copy. Let's see what the good folks at Native who write the copy, Native, has said this week. My God, my mind is playing tricks on me.
This episode of Cantina Theater is brought to you by Native, DEO.com.
There it is.
There it is.
I'm trying to remember that.
Intro. My favorite part of the year this year is the food. I can never get enough of how everything smells. And speaking of smells, I have to tell you about Native's awesome new holiday-inspired scents and products. They're no Manscaped.
Yeah, it's I could read this copy to my mom and she'd be like, "Oh, that's lovely."
Yes, things smell good.
Yeah,
I love things that smell good.
That's true.
I mean, we'll get to the Dick and Hard later, which doesn't feel like it's mom-approved copy.
Yes, generally they tend to go with the raunchier jokes.
Yes. So Native cares about the products you put on your body. They're all about stopping the stink the right way. That's the Native difference. You've heard us talk about Native's legendary aluminum-free deodorant.
I like when you say
You like that, right?
The British way, man. The Guy Ritchie way.
It's aluminium.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Patrick Stewart.
This far, no further. Native's mission is to overhaul your entire hygiene routine by creating products that are made with simple ingredients like shea butter and coconut oil, so you can smell great all day long. With classics and rotating seasonals, Native has a scent for everyone. Try their holiday scented deodorant, body wash, or toothpaste in scents like candy cane, sugar cookie, fresh mistletoe. Yeah.
I can vouch for that, man. Sugar cookie smells amazing. I did an episode where I licked it. It was so fucking good. Native wrote me a fucking letter going, "We're going to stop advertising if you do shit like that again. Don't eat our product."
Don't lick
it's
it.
so fucking good.
Yes. Giving the gift of self-care is easy with Native. Build yourself or your loved one's personalized product bundles by mixing and matching 3 of your favorite holiday scented products into a set. Please mention which holiday items you love most.
The sugar cookie. All over my body, man. All over. You're supposed to use it in one place. I use it in all places and shit. I want my asshole to smell like sugar cookies. Shouldn't use it there, but I do.
He did it all for the cookie.
The cookie.
The cookie.
The cookie. Yeah, man. Fucking there's your ad right there. Native. It'll make your asshole smell like sugar cookies. And I don't care who you are, you benefit from an asshole that smells like sugar cookies.
You know, at the very least, you're curious.
Yeah. At the very least, people remember you. Like, I don't know much about him, but fuck, did his asshole smell like sugar cookies? And they're like, that's because he went Native, son.
Is he farting Keebler elves? Yeah, he is.
Farting Keebler elves. That would insinuate he ate one.
Yeah, he did.
I like your fucking dark sensibility, filmmaker.
Yeah,
Fellow
he did.
filmmaker. All right,
So,
top off this copy.
Top off the copy. Stay merry, happy, and fresh this holiday season. You will love Native's limited time seasonal products as much as we do. Go to nativedeo.com/fatman or use promo code FATMAN at checkout and get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/fatman or use promo code FATMAN at checkout for 20% off your first order.
Fucking love Native. Literally love Native. Use its product all the time. Can't fucking tell you enough. Help them out. Throw them a few fucking bucks. Fight big body odor fucking corporate America, man, and fucking go for Native. NativeDEO.com. We thank the good folks at Native for sponsoring Fat Man Beyond. Give it up for the good folks at Native, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Woo!
All right, we've gotten the advertisements out of the way.
Yes.
Our upfront chit-chat this week, ladies and gentlemen, is going to focus on a budding young artist, new talent. We're always talking about discovering new talent on this show. Well, this show has new talent on it that discovered itself this week. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm touching myself. Although art is very masturbatory. That's a whole other conversation. Long story short, Mark made a short this weekend. He made Splinter Short, man.
Woo!
What
did it?
What was the experience like? You wanted to direct by the time you were 50. You fucking did it in the first week of being 50. We had a discussion out in the back with some of the good folks that helped finance the flick through the Kickstarter, who were also extras in it.
They were indeed.
And God, there was so much setup. I forgot the point I was about to make. What was the really good point that I was about to steal? And then I was like, don't steal it, give credit. And then I was so busy giving credit, I forgot. I fell into a fucking pothole, and I can't get out of it.
I think you might have to smoke your way out.
What was it?
First week of 50?
The first week of 50? New talent?
Yeah, I can't help you with this one because I
Not
don't know where
ringing
you
any
were
bells
going.
whatsoever. Fuck. Discovering your body. It's very masturbatory, I said. Mm-hmm. God damn. It was going to be a beautiful point.
The
A beautiful
Kickstarter
salient
supporters
point.
who were here,
And
who were background players in it.
It's gone.
Do you need to go back out and finish that joint?
I should. I might be able to trigger it back.
The only way out of the pothole is through.
The point is this: you're the baby artist who went on the journey. I'm the guy who always interrupts. I'm gonna put the fucking microphone down, and you're gonna tell all of us a story about what it was like to do the thing. Oh, that's what it was.
Oh,
fucking thank you. I'm so glad. The point about you did it in the first week of being 50, because I was like, out back, I was like, you know, you wanted to do it by the time you're 50. How old are you? He's like, I've turned 1 week ago, I was 50. And then who pointed it out? Said, what's your name? Call it out. Carol pointed out, like, well, technically he's 50 all year. And we were able to flip the fucking script like stoners and be like, oh my God, you did it in the first week of 50, you fucking overachiever. And shit like so I'm going to rest the mic and let's all hear a story. What was it like to direct your Splinter short?
Well, I'll tell you, Kevin, because you asked so nicely. It was a little bit surreal, a lot surreal, because the process of writing is so often a solitary one. Even if you're in a writing room, you know, where there's a couple of other people and you're working on a thing together, like you, at the end of the day, it's you and the keyboard. And I've sort of resigned myself to that for a while. The idea that the art that I make will eventually, hopefully, be seen by other people, and there will be lots of people who make it, but the experience of my direct connection to it is solitary. And then it goes off into the world and does what it does.
Fair enough.
But the idea that, you know, we, and by we I mean there were like some 50 people on this set, many of which I did not know before I showed up, because the way it tends to work is, you know, I hire some sort of key people, some department heads, and, you know, my producers were collaborators, and my director of photography, you know, was a very big part of this. But like my director of photography showed up with a crew, showed up with her camera crew, and showed up with the grips and electric, and showed up with those guys, and who I'd never met before. And, you know, same thing with makeup. Red, our friend Red, was our, you know, hair and makeup lead, and so she brought a couple of people, and who I had never met before. So it becomes this weird mixture of meeting a bunch of people and working intensely closely with them for a very short amount of time, but very quickly discovering that we're all kind of vibrating on the same wavelength. And I was crazy nervous because I had never done it before, and, you know, first-timers, often nervous in most things. But the philosophy that I was trying to go by was act as if. Act as if you've done this before. Act as if you know what you're doing. Act as if you've been here before. And it kind of served me pretty well, because the one thing that I knew was the story. You know, and I knew what it was supposed to do. I knew what it was supposed to achieve. I knew the kind of emotional feeling you're supposed to get from it, even if I wasn't entirely clear about how we were going to get there. I sort of knew what the goalposts were. And so just kind of finding the way and like working with the crew and hitting a rhythm and a stride. And, you know, I mentioned it online. I did a big thread about our dance parties. We would, every time we ended a scene, or had to like flip the lighting around, oh no. I'm sorry, something just fell down. You can't see that at home, but only we can see it here. It's just for us. You know, when you're making a movie...
Did you say somebody fell down?
No, something fell down. It was like
I was
JC's
like, you're
little
being
monitor.
pretty fucking casual. Like, get a hospital guy. Hospital guy. Call an ambulance.
You, hospital guy, go to the healing place. Get the woo-woo car. You got to get him out of here.
The fucking woo-woo car. Oh, my God. I really lost the power of English for a second there. Call the hospital guy. Back to you.
So yeah, a thing that I learned from Kevin, and I'm not entirely sure when I learned it, but the idea that a director on a set is a host, and that, you know, if you can get people in a good mindset, if you can keep them sort of happy and engaged and invigorated, you'll get their best work. And so I took that idea to the next level. I put a little Bluetooth speaker in the pocket of my hoodie, and every time we would end a scene or have to move lights or anything, which would buy us like 10 or 15 minutes between shooting, I would play a song. And at first, the crew's like, where the fuck is this music coming from? And why are we listening to music? I don't understand what's happening. I'm supposed to be working. And then by the...
Normally on movie sets, they don't do that. They like shit very quiet and whatnot. So that's why people were reacting, just to give a little bit of background.
Yeah, it's usually a bit like a monastery where we're all just like doing our thing. And then every now and again, like, is that Tupac? Yeah, it's Tupac. Like, is that Poison? Do I trust a big butt and a smile? Yeah, we do. And then by the end of the show, like, there were crew members like, I'm from DC. What do you got? Like, all right, doing the butt. Yeah, we're going to be doing the butt all night long. Sexy, sexy. Oh, ain't nothing wrong if you're doing the butt all day long. And the feeling began to be joyous. It began to be, we're all happy to be there. And, 50 people who didn't know each other, by the end of it, were fucking hugging and crying. And maybe I was doing all the crying. Because I was a fucking mess. I was a mess. Because, like, when you're starting and it's going and the energy and you start seeing things coming alive and it gets to be emotional in a way that I was not prepared for. But I was ultimately not prepared for the last day. And it's a 4-day shoot. Like, it's not that long. But that last day, as we started, like, wrapping out members of the cast, all right, this is a picture wrap. That's what they say when it's the last time a person is working on the set. It's a picture wrap for Moon Bloodgood. Everybody, yay, applause. It's a picture wrap for Tricia Helfer. Yay, applause. It's a picture wrap for Brooks Firestone, who was the 10-year-old kid who was playing sort of the center of our story. Yes.
Tricia Helfer?
Yeah.
You had fucking 6 in there?
Caprica 6 showed up to play. I put her in a cockpit and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Canada's own Tricia Helfer.
Alberta's own.
Yeah, fuck. That's cool. Do you do or your co-host for Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very sweet. Back to you.
Back to me. And Brooks, the kid who's the 10-year-old kid who's sort of at the center of the story, his first ever scripted performance. And so he and I sort of had this whole thing. It's like, it's both of our first times, Brooks. Neither of us have done this before. Like, we're both kind of learning as we go. And, like, he started to get a little emboldened by the fact that he wasn't alone and not being an expert at it. And I started to sort of, like, lean on him and trust him a little bit because he was, like, preternaturally gifted. And so when we wrapped him, it started to get, like, a little touch and go. They're like, don't look at me. The mask is hiding things, I hope. Don't look out of my direction. And then when we got to the end, and our first AD, the first AD's job is to run the set. He's the sort of the staff sergeant who keeps the army going. And he's the guy who keeps the schedule, makes sure that we're making our days, who makes sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, who calls quiet on the set when people are still banging hammers in the background. We got to the last shot, and he was like, Mark, do you want to call it? And I was like, man, I can't. I just can't. He's like, well, all right, then I'll do it. That is a wrap on Splinter. And then I'm like, and then he stops and, like, everybody's looking at me to say a thing. And I just started crying. I just, like, give me a second. I'll pull it together. And then just, thanked everybody for helping me make a dream come true in a way that I hadn't anticipated it ever happening. The feeling that I've been holding this dream since I was a 20-year-old kid who wanted to, like, go to college and be some weird mixture of Spike Lee and Steven Spielberg. And then 30 years later, New York, Spike Lee.
Wouldn't that be Jordan Peele at the end of the day?
I was trying to be my own thing, but okay, sure. He beat me to it,
I was going to
Kev.
say, yeah. Let's say Jordan Peele did the Marc Bernardin.
I'm a grower, not a shower.
How magical was the experience of watching a production come together? Like, you've been on sets or whatever, but, like, your thing, watching your vision come to life and watching how everybody does their part, how it's really like that story of Stone Soup where, one motherfucker's like, I could cure this town's hunger. Everybody bring one ingredient to the fucking pot and I'll put in the magic stone and shit. The director brings the magic stone. I would like to think. That's what I try to do. I can't speak for other directors. I think Michael Bay brings the shout, the yelly. But I like to bring the fucking stone, and everybody brings their ingredient, and then bam, suddenly you got a wicked stew and stuff. You are the X factor, the intangible, the one component that you can't cast or hire. You got to bring something that nobody else has and that everybody wants for that 4 days or however long they're in your life. All they want to do is get that fucking movie out of your head out into the real world. What was it like?
Yeah, I mean, it's I would say that it's like hey, it's their job, right? They get paid to do this thing, and they do it all the time. But we weren't paying them what they should get. We were somewhat scrappy. We raised a lot of money, but we also made a big fucking movie. And so the fact that people were willing to come to work for less than they should get, the less than they're worth, and still work as hard as they did, as well as they did, for as long as they did, was the most humbling thing. Of just, you guys believe, and I don't know why you believe. I assume that I have something to do with that, because I'm acting as if I know what the fuck is going on, and that's, yeah, sure, put the camera there, that sounds a great idea. Oh yeah, no, we'll pull it back, and the lighting's awesome, but can you do like 10% more, or 10% less? I got very George Lucas. I got very faster, more intense, or slower, less intense.
That's what it means to be George Lucas?
That, according to Harrison Ford.
Because that's how I fuck my wife. I'm gonna start calling it. I'm gonna give you the Lucas tonight, faster and more intense. She's like, I'm over here. I'm like, oh shit.
Judge me not by my size, do you?
Very nice.
It was a level of humility, I think, in the face of talent, and the weird sort of, we all just want to believe in a dream of Hollywood, and if you can give them a dream to believe in, then they'll do the impossible. And if you can keep believing that dream and keep, some sense of perspective on it, they'll do miracles for you. And that's phenomenal in a way that I'd never really appreciated before.
It is. It's magical how folks come together. Doesn't it fucking, not to, disparage anyone else, and I'm not naming names, but doesn't it baffle you when you now fucking hear stories about directors who fucking yell, and again, I'm not I was kidding about Michael Bay. I've never been on one of his sets. I don't know if he yells. But having heard stories of directors who are fucking shouty or bitchy at their crew, or everyone sucks and they're getting it wrong and my vision, all that. Isn't that mind-bending that anyone would fucking act that way, considering how much the crew, the cast, everyone fucking gives?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of feel, and I remember feeling this way in a couple of writers' rooms that I was in, is that you have to gamble as if every chip has the same number on it. If you sit down at a blackjack table, there's the way to play blackjack, whether it's a $5 chip or a $100 chip or a $1,000 chip. You always split aces and eights. You always double down on 11. These are just things you do. When you're making a movie, if it costs $50 or $50,000 or $50 million, it still does the same things. And you can't let the pressure of that number fuck with you, because I think that a lot of that is insecurity. I think a lot of that is I'm losing control. And the yelling is a way to reassert some semblance of control because it's so huge. But if you just play the numbers are the same, then yeah, all right, fuck it, we're making a thing, guys. Even if it's a James Bond movie, well, I know we're doing 9 countries and $200 million and a shit ton of stunts, but a movie's a movie's a movie.
Until some motherfucker lets their mask slip. And then Mission Impossible becomes Mission, oh fuck, he won't stop yelling at me in front of the crew.
So I think that's a lot of that behavior is just this semblance of, I'm afraid. I'm afraid it's getting out of my hands. I'm afraid it's getting away from me. I'm afraid that they're going to know that I'm just making this up as I go. And I'm trying to cover for that fear with aggression. Or seclusion. I'm only going to be on set when it's, when I'm ready to call cut or action or whatever. Yeah. I'm going to hide in my trailer and do whatever the fuck I'm doing in my trailer, as opposed to being a part of it. It's a circus and you're the ringleader, and the ringleader's got to be with the rest of the circus. Otherwise, the fucking animals start doing shit, and the trapeze guys are blowing the fucking fire dudes. And
did you shoot a porno?
Welcome to Cirque du Soleil, everybody. It's how it goes.
Splinter. He's gonna splinter with his dick.
Ooh.
Well,
Well, this doesn't go well. I've got a plan.
I am insanely proud of you. I expected nothing less, though, that you would capture what you wanted to get. You're such an excellent storyteller, as we hear even on this show every week. But I was in the back in our green room with some of Mark's guests tonight, who were folks who fired up, I guess, one of the Kickstarter
Yeah.
categories that also allowed them to be in it as well. Is that correct? And all of them gave like a glowing report card of Marc's, not just Marc's, directing, but his deportment as the director, which is something you rarely fucking hear in this business. Directors get acclaimed for like, oh, they're genius and they shot this and oh, but after they gave him his props as a filmmaker, they were very quick to give him his props as the guy who was inclusive. Wasn't just like, oh, you fuckers came and you stand there and do a thing. He engaged with them, involved everybody and stuff. Not just put them on screen, but like kept them informed, which is a big part of the job. It's all about information. That's the job of answering questions, essentially, as I'm sure you learned very quickly. It's like you just need to have that fucking answer when somebody asks you, and all they do is ask you questions all day long. And the director just has to be able to be like, yes, of course it's red. No, of course it's going to be 39 seconds. What? No, fucking length, not width, like shit like that. So I had every confidence that you would be able to, do the job itself. But like, it was delightful to hear how like fun you treat it, because it should be a fun fucking job. Like, you get to make pretend, and like the stress of, carrying 4 days is not a bad amount of stress. The right amount of stress for the first time out. Yeah. Like where you'll treat it with gravity, but you're not like, oh my God, now I've got 4 more weeks of this fucking shit. So good for you, man.
And I was surrounded by, yes, there were a bunch of strangers who I got to know relatively well, but then there were friends and family who were also there and sort of came down to show some love. Like my son was an extra on that last day. So he rolled out, 17-year-old kid is like, buddy, you're going to be here for like 8 hours. You cool with that? It's like, yeah, this will be fun. Aww. And by the end of the day, he was like, yeah, this was fun. My cousin Richard, like flew himself from Montreal to come down and shoot behind the scenes stills and portrait gallery of the stars and, the stills for the movie. And he's a fancy ass fashion photographer who's like, yeah, I'm going to carve out 3 days and 100% I'll be there for you. Like,
you guys have the same last name?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your name up there makes like fucking sense. Just fits the fuck in.
Nepotism.
Like, yeah, Monsieur Bernardin. Down here, everybody's like Marc Bernardin.
Yeah. No, he's fancy that way. But he came in and he fucking killed it. The stuff that he shot is gorgeous, and to have that sort of little cocoon of familiarity and warmth, and if everything seemed like it was going shitty, which it never really did, but there's always that moment when you're like, is this? Yeah, is it red or is it blue? No, it's going to be red. Let's make it red. There was always somebody to sort of lean to and say, do we like this? My director of photography was very much that. The script coordinator was very much that. Do we have what we need? Yeah? All right, moving on. Let's go. But it's feeling that level of comfort to be able to make decisions that may or may not seem arbitrary, and to trust yourself. I think anytime you're making art of any kind, some of it is about trusting your gut and saying, I feel like it's this. And I can't explain why, really, but I just feel it this way.
Yeah.
And being able to let that ride on something as big as this, or the one thing that I learned that I was super appreciative of is I don't know how directors do anything else besides direct. And so the level of appreciation I have for, like, I remember you're making Clerks 3 and I'm just like texting you about fucking podcast dates, and then you would answer me, and now I'm like, why was he answering me?
Because it was Clerks 3. If I don't have it down by now, what the fuck good am I at the job? So I was making the movie, I was answering your texts, I was applying for my next job and shit like that. And I was working Quick Stop, selling cigarettes at the same time. I was multitasking.
Yeah, like just everything else in my life just fell by the wayside while I was doing that for 4 days.
As it should be for like the first time, because and not because it's like it demands all the concentration of a nuclear physicist. No, because it's like you've dreamed about doing this your whole fucking life. You should enjoy every fucking second. You should be on set every fucking second. You should, be soaking it the fuck up, because this has been a long time coming. So it makes sense that you didn't engage with like anything else. I was shocked that you kept fucking your social media up the whole time. Like, you kept doing tweets and Instagram, and I'm like, boy, how does he fucking, man? As you're like, how does Kevin spin that many plates? I was like, why is he spinning this many plates? Why is he updating us on the regular? But I thrilled to the regular updates. It was fun to see like how joyous you were. You can see it in your posts and how appreciative you were for to have the crew and the cast that you did. It was really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, we luckily we started every day at 8 o'clock, and we were taillights. They say you want to see the taillights of the crew driving away.
This is motherfucker dropping the lingo.
Dropping the lingo. Taillights by 7:30 every day.
Oh, very good. Under 12 hours. Yes.
And so the fact that I could be home, like icing my feet because I was on my standing for all day every day. This is a fucking marathon, not a sprint. I got the comfiest nurse shoes on now.
And still, that's one of my favorite parts of the job. Like in the beginning, they give you a chair, and I would be like, "What the? I don't like high director chairs. It's like being on a horse. It's too high." So I like the low director chair, as close to the center of gravity as possible. So for the first 10 years, I would sit in the chair and shit. And then a certain film, I forget which one it was, but I realized that if you're on your feet the whole day, oddly enough, I think it was Yoga Hosers, you get 10,000 steps just standing on set all day long. Because you don't really stand, because you're like, oh, I'm over here, oh, I'm over here, oh, I'm doing this. And I don't know if it's the same for you, but when I direct, I do this a lot. So I'll be sitting there going like this, where I'm just like, all right, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to move over here, and this is the next thing we're doing. So much so that Jeff Anderson in Clerks 3 plays Randall. Randall makes a movie, and at one point we were shooting a scene, and Jeff was playing Randall, who was being excited about the potential for this movie he's making. And he starts going like this in the scene and shit. And I was like, you son of a bitch. Josh Roush, Liv, his wife, calls it Kevin's impatient dance. But it's never out of a sense of impatience. Because I've analyzed it, because people ask me, they're like, well, what music are you hearing in your head when you dance? And I was like, I don't really hear music. All I'm hearing in my head is, I'm getting exactly what I want in life. I'm getting exactly what I want in life. And it's just enthusiasm, because I'm like, oh my God, how rare is this and stuff. You had a dance party and stuff.
Yes, but there was also the just a little bit of
Yes, yeah, you can't help it, because you're like, this is fucking neat. And you're like, why don't I do this all the time? It's just, it fits.
Except I had Wham in my head.
What were you singing?
Wake me up before you go. I don't know why.
And you wanted to be Spike Lee somehow?
The
Steven Spielberg part now makes more sense.
It's all coming together. Little Barry Manilow.
That is, it was awesome, and it was. I thank you for my part in it. I was so happy to be there as an actor in the fucking movie.
You do have an outstanding cameo in the movie.
I saw.
You did?
See, yeah, somebody sent me.
Did Jordan send it to you?
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely adorable. It was very, very cool, man. I can't wait to watch. Are you going to cut it yourself?
No.
No.
I didn't trust myself for that.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, fuck. First time out.
Yeah, let me get a pro.
Yeah, hand it over to somebody and,
And then just to...
They're going to give you what you want.
Yeah.
It'd be shocking if they were like, no, I see it this way. They cut fucking
It's like, this ending doesn't
Klein
work.
ad out of it or something like that.
Yeah, why is it 4 minutes long? We shot 19 minutes worth of movie.
How was it black and white? What did you do with the color?
Yeah. Did you not see the colors that we shot? Didn't like it.
Wait, this is Citizen Kane.
Did you just put another movie in here? But yeah, he's going to get work on it after the holidays, because I was like, listen, dude, don't break your balls before Christmas. Have a holiday. And then in January we get into
I'm
it.
still stuck on the editor taking over your fucking movie and turning it into Citizen Plane. It was a dad joke, but it was worth stopping the show for.
No.
Bunch of dads in the audience going, well done, fellow father, well done.
Yes.
You've lost your edge, but the spoon is just as good.
Yes, harumph, harumph, harumph.
Well, that's fucking darling, man, to watch a dude finally fucking get what he's always wanted and stuff. And it's probably the first of many. You see yourself doing it again?
I think so.
Yeah, how could you not? Once you get a taste for it, you're like, how do you keep them down on the farm once they've seen Paris, as they say?
Like once Blade gets a little taste of that human blood.
It's a much better analogy for this show. Give it up for fucking Mr. Marc Bernardin. He directed. He's a director now. Woo-ha! As I said to Mark in the back alley in my best Paul Sorvino when I saw him, you busted your cherry. Goodfellas style. While Mark was directing his movie, I was doing something. I was not directing, but I was producing the fucking birthday event of a lifetime. I took my 76-year-old mother on her birthday, my mother Grace, to Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. My mother has always been a big fan of Elvis, and Red, our aforementioned friend Red, who did the
hair and makeup
on Mark's movie, was like, take your mom to Graceland. She wants to go to Graceland. And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
how
seriously?
do you know? It's my mom.
She knows my mom. She chit-chats with my mom. My mom gets to know a motherfucker. She won't let them out of her life. You know what I'm saying? So she was talking to her, and she's like, she wants to go to Graceland. I was like, no, surely she would have mentioned that by now. I'm sure she went to Graceland. I was like, Ma, you ever go to Graceland? She's like, no. And I was like, do you want to go? And she's like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Graceland. And I was like, oh my God, I can fucking make this happen and shit. So we wound up going on her birthday weekend. And like, you want to talk about giving like mom the perfect gift. I could have. Fair enough.
Carry on.
I could have. I like literally couldn't have given. I could have. It was like giving her the equivalent of a vibrator. She was just like, oh, it made her feel so fucking young, and I guess cummy is what I'm getting at. Like oh my God, like you should see how fucking, I put up pictures on Instagram. She's bright, like a fucking teenager. Like, it was weird to see my mother's fandom come out. You know, like, I've spent my life being a fanboy of things, and she like had to sit there through all of them. Like, oh, he loves Snoopy. Now he loves Batman. Now he loves Star Wars. Now he loves Bullwinkle. Now he loves fucking, Gretzky. What the fuck? Like, she's seen me go through so many fucking like fandoms, and my mother has always appreciated Elvis, listened to his albums and stuff, but I never really knew. She was a grown-ass woman married by the time I met her. I was the third kid and shit. So, Elvis was like, oh, I listened to old Elvis records and whatnot. It was mom music to me. And, the way she liked Elvis was the way she liked Olivia Newton-John. But based on what I saw at fucking Graceland this weekend.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Fucking, if I was not sharing a fucking hotel room with my mother and she was alone, it would have been a little less conversation, a little more action, my friend. She would have been just fucking rubbing herself on the furniture. She loved fucking Graceland so much, man. She knew shit as we pulled into it. She's like, this is this, that is that. She was touching things, and you're not supposed to touch shit, but they let her because she's an old lady, I guess, or whatever. Oh my
what
God.
Are you gonna do?
It was so lovely. She was so happy, dude. It was like porn for mothers. Like, just puts a smile on her face. So gratifying, fucking satisfying and stuff. And so delightful for me to see her fan out and just be that person.
So
something she's seen me do like a zillion times over the course of my lifetime. Now, I go to Graceland for mom, right? Like, this is all about mom, and mom's so fucking happy and crying on the way home and shit like that. I went as a person that's like, look, I understand Elvis's cultural significance and stuff like that, but my crossover with Elvis is like, oh, that's my mom. My mom loves Elvis. And Ernie, who runs Smodcastle, he fucking loves Elvis. He went to Graceland and shit like that, which always baffled me because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're 50, And he's like, doesn't that sound right to you, a 50-year-old that likes Elvis? And I'm like,
I want to take care of business in a flash, too.
I guess so, man. So, like, I always respected him and stuff, and his place in pop culture. But, like, when I first got there, I was shocked by the amount of fucking people that still deeply give a shit about this man and know everything about him. Like, there were people who weren't tour guides who were tour guiding me around the place and giving me fucking factoids and information that blew my hair back. Do you know how many, like, I think of him as a, fucking rock star, right? The first rock star. But I'm walking around like they've got like the main house, but they also built this pavilion across the way where you see all his costumes and there's all these exhibits and shit like Elvis in the Army and Elvis in the movies and stuff. And you're seeing all these movie posters and whatnot. The man made 31 motion pictures in the span of like 10 years.
To be fair, none of them are good.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's like a fucking Tyler Perry level of output.
About as good.
I asked Nate before we went. I said, Nate, look up Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, and who is the other? Oh, Will Smith, to see like how many movies each one of those cats have made. What do we get for Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise, it depends. If you ask IMDb, it says 50. Google says 77.
Whoa.
77
How's
movies.
that a 27 movie
Tom
swing?
Cruise has been in 50 fucking movies?
Depends on who you ask, but yeah, at least 50 according to IMDb. That's his under credits. It's 50.
He's been working since like 81.
And I guess there have been like 28 Mission Impossibles as well. All right,
the mission, it turns out, is like actually really possible.
Yeah, mission very possible. Mission possibly going to happen again if you keep buying this shit.
We did it, you guys, like we do every time.
Next one.
Will Smith, according to IMDb, has 77, or if you ask Google, it's 60.
77? These guys make Elvis look like a chump. And then...
Well, you want to know what's in the Tom Hanks bank?
Yeah.
95 according to IMDb, or Google says 116.
Wow. Well, there goes my whole fucking point about, like, I'm still impressed. 31 movies in a very short span of his life.
For a dude who's not an actor.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's as much a movie star to a lot of people as he is a rock star. This motherfucker went in the Army. Mm-hmm. Like, could you imagine any pop star going into the Army at the height of their career, giving up 2 years to go be in the Army? Like, it's just crazy that that happened.
He's the king.
Yes, I guess. My mom, we were, they got the archives because I guess, like, the Presley family are hoarders, and they saved literally fucking everything. From, like, here's the TV that he shot with a gun, which you could fucking see. It's on display. To, like, here's the fucking deed to Graceland. And here's the check, the canceled check for $1,000. Here's the check for the gates that they put up. They like literally fucking save everything and stuff.
Did they have his deputy badge?
Yeah, which one? They had a fucking like a board full of 100 badges. He was a big badge fiend. He liked to collect badges, honorary badges. So he had a bunch of them. That was like when you went into the house on the tour. They were like, for Christmas we bring out this very special item. You're going to touch an item that Elvis touched, and it's like one of the many badges that he was gifted and stuff. They made my mom put on like white gloves. Everybody, they're like, you have to put on white gloves and shit like that to touch it. And so in the beginning of the tour, I was like, come on, white gloves and shit. And I looking at the whole thing always from the perspective of like, I have a tourist trap of my own, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, where I sell knickknacks and souvenirs and shit like that. So like, I know the game. Like, hey, this is great. My mom's like, we can't spend this money on souvenirs. I was like, Ma, for all the years people have come into my store from around the world and fucking bought Jay and Silent Bob trinkets, I can get you Elvis fucking shirts while we're at Graceland. Like, let's do this. So I went in very, like, this is for her, and, it'll be interesting because it's nice to see how a business operates, and this is one of America's most premier tourist attractions, even still, and shit like that.
You bought a jumpsuit, didn't you?
I fell in love with Elvis. Like, by the end of it, I understood, like, oh my God, like the magic of this guy and stuff like that. It's fucking crazy how accomplished he was. And he did it in the 20-year span of life. That's it, just 20 years. Like, and then the factoids that you're given, like, I met this guy who's got like an Elvis YouTube channel. And he was telling me, because I was like, I said, I know he wore capes because he loved Captain Marvel. He goes, that's absolutely right. He's going, Elvis was a big comic book fan. He's going, there's a clip playing right there where he's receiving one of the only awards he ever showed up to receive in person from the Memphis JCs and stuff. And he talks specifically about reading comic books and seeing himself as the hero. He's going, so taking care of business, the lightning bolt, taking care of business in a flash. He's going, the lightning bolt was taken from Captain Marvel, from Shazam. His pompadour was taken from Captain Marvel, from Shazam. So when he got into his costume wearing era, because, and I found this fucking fascinating. Performers of the day, male performers generally wore just tuxedos or suits, and that's it. He's the first guy that gave a fuck about what he wear, where he was like, you know what, I'm going to wear like flared collars, which no man had ever worn a high collar until this guy wore a high collar, and he only got away with it because he was considered so fucking pretty like a woman that they're like, we'll let it go. And everyone, all guys started wearing like high collars. Like this dude was like a fashion trendsetter, and also like I'm not going to say he dressed androgynously, but he started doing something that most women, most female performers were associated with, giving a fuck about outfits. The dude had a series of outfits. He'd wear one and just not wear it again and shit like that. He became like a fashion template. So not only is it like this rock star fucking icon and shit, but he's a fashion icon, he's a movie star. My mom, as we went through the archives, she was like, I had that. They had merchandise on display. Like this guy was Star Wars in 1955. They had fucking toys. My mom was like, I had that 45 record case. She's like, I had all my Elvis records, and she's like, I can't believe. She rolled a tear seeing this fucking item. And I looked at all the merchandise going like, oh my, even from an early age, this was the first one. This was the one where they were like, we can sell pencil cases off this guy. Like we could literally put his face on fucking anything and it'll fucking sell. He became this incredible industry. But I was very like impressed by the whole organization, how it was put together. The thing I fell down the rabbit hole on was like his daughter, the family aspect. Because when you go there, there's this weird feeling of like, oh, this is somebody's house, and it's literally frozen in time. Essentially, the moment he died, they sealed everything up, and it's all still there. Everything is the way he left it. Everything in the house is all of his shit. Everything is like, they bring you through the kitchen. I found this mind-blowing. This is one of my favorite parts of the tour. They bring you through the kitchen and they go, you see that microwave over there? That's the first microwave in the city of Memphis ever. And that's kind of trivia where I'm like, you're getting me hard. Tell me the story. How did this fucking happen? The first ever? Like, what a cool fucking first. And they're like, well, Elvis, you see, was a huge technology buff. He had to have the latest of everything and whatnot. So Elvis paid $6,500 for this microwave, the most expensive fucking microwave ever sold because it was one of the first models, but he had it and shit. I was blown away by that. I was just like, oh, thank God somebody was like, save the microwave. Someone will appreciate it. And I don't know if anyone ever on the tour ever appreciated it, but I was like, that was worth $190 right there.
You're telling a formerly fat person about the first food device in this whole fucking state? Yes, please.
Just a trivia buff. Like, that's kind of, you know what kind of currency that is? Whipping that out at a party? You're like, you know who had the first fucking microwave in Memphis ever?
What fucking party are you going to when anybody will give a shit about the provenance of Memphis microwaves?
One where they'd be like, Elvis? And I'd be like, yeah, how'd you figure that out? Do you know what he paid for it? They're like, I don't know, 10 grand. I'm like, well, 6,500, but your story's better, right? Oh, I was so fucking blown away. But the family aspect of it, I found like kind of touching because, you know, at a certain point, you are in somebody's house. Like it feels weird. And when they're not home, like it feels just strange. Then you get out to like the garden, in the meditation garden is where he's buried. And he's buried next to his mama. He's buried next to his dad, his grandma and shit. There's a marker for his twin, stillborn twin, but the body's not there. They said the body was a shoebox in an unmarked grave in Tupelo, and they've never been able to find it. So there's just a marker there. But there's something that like killed me, is incredibly poignant. Like I walked away like a much bigger fan of Elvis than I ever was. But I fell down the you fall into like the subject assumption. You're like, I want to read everything about this. The rabbit hole I fell down was Lisa Marie Presley, because I read a story about when they were laying him out, Elvis, because she was there the night he died and stuff. She was 9 when he dies. They lay him out, and he's in a white suit and a blue shirt, and she goes to the funeral director. She goes, can I give this to my daddy? And it's a bracelet, a little bracelet. And, you know, the funeral director is normally like, no fucking jewelry, you know, on the bodies and shit, but he's like, I'm not going to tell her no. So he's like, yeah, absolutely. And she's like, can you do it? And he brings her up to the casket, and he realizes she like can't interact with her dead father. So she's not looking at the body and stuff, but she's holding out the bracelet, and he's like, where do you want it? And she points to her own wrist where she wants it on him. And so he goes in, gently lifts up, you know, the dude's arm, because he's embalmed at this point and stuff, and puts the bracelet on him and puts it back down. And he walks her back to her mom, and he said like that right before he handed her off to Priscilla, she was like, will it be there forever? And he was like, yeah, it's going to be there forever. And she was like, okay. And preternaturally calm, went back to her fucking mother. This poor kid, surrounded by fucking death. She loses her dad at age 9. Her grandfather dies like 2 fucking years later. Then her aunt or uncle dies. Then she has like a friend commit suicide at a young age. She loses 2 friends in a car accident. Like she's just fucking like surrounded by death. And so there's a song like that she put out an album like years and years ago, I think 2003, 2004, called To Whom It May Concern, I think it was. And it had a big single on it. I don't know if anyone remembers, but it's called Lights Out. And it was a song that actually referenced her heritage and stuff. And there's a chorus to the song that goes, someone turned the lights out down in Memphis. That's where my family's buried and gone. Last time I was there, I noticed a space left next to them there in Memphis in the damn back lawn. She's literally talking about where her fucking relatives are buried. And the idea is that as she stands there looking at them, she's like, there's where I'm going to fucking be. How strange. You know what I'm saying? Like to be like, oh my God, I'm part of this massive legacy and I'm gonna wind up right here. So I always fucking really thought that song was kind of powerful and really cool and shit. I know she didn't want to lead with it because it's very Elvis oriented, but it's a fucking, to borrow a term from kids, which they probably don't say anymore, fucking tune slapped. So I always really liked it. And so when one of the exhibits was about Lisa Marie, and my mom was something asked me about, like, she did an album, and that's what triggered all this. I was like, yeah, man, I bought that album years ago and shit. It had a fucking really good song on it and shit. Played it for my mom and stuff, and I was playing it. Like, I got really emotional because in her life, too, she's got kids, right? Like, she's got a daughter, Riley, who's an actress. She was in The Lodge, and she was in Mad Max. And
Riley Keough?
Riley Keough. And Riley had a brother named Benjamin, who 2 years ago passed away, took his own life and stuff. And on the tour, opposite Elvis, is his grave, the boy's grave, his grandson. And I've been obsessed, like I fucking can't listen to the song without getting emotional and stuff, with the idea that like she sang about that spot and it was filled by like somebody so fucking deeply close to her and stuff. Oh my God, so tragic circumstances like surrounding this poor girl's life, and she still like endeavors and struggles on. So it's weird, man. I fell down to like a deep fucking hole and stuff, and I was like, me and my mom were like up trading Elvis stories all night long, talking about how impressed we were with this guy's fucking life. At one point, she was like, "This is just like, you know, what you have with the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash and Quick Stop, except Elvis was way more famous than you'll ever be." You know, Mom just puts it right on fucking Front Street and stuff like that. Mom was great, aside from like the trip, which she loved every second of. And she gets around slowly now. She's losing her ability to walk and stuff, so everything had to be just, you had to build in more time to do shit. Like at one point, like it was midnight one of the nights, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go to Walmart to grab some fucking snacks. And she was like, well, I'll go with you. And I was like, oh, right on, let's fucking go to Walmart. So we went to like Walmart at like midnight, around midnight in Memphis, and had a fucking like blast. Like just an absolute fucking blast, man. Because she can get one of them electric carts.
Ooh.
Which is fucking dope, man. Like she speed down aisles and shit like that. And you know, the way I shop is like we were gonna be driving to Nashville the next day to catch a flight. So I was like, we'll get snacks for the whole, you know, tonight to sit around and bullshit, and then we'll have snacks the whole fucking ride there and stuff. And you know, she loves chocolate, so I was getting her all the fucking like Hershey's and shit like that. She loves really like name brand, like store brand chocolate.
High-end chocolate fan.
I mean, or Hershey's and shit like that. Like, but you know, your good old standard American chocolate and whatnot. But she no snob. She'll take Godiva and shit like that. But like, it don't matter.
She'll take a Godiva?
Yeah, gleefully and whatnot. So we were getting a bunch of snacks and having a fucking blast. And she's like, you know, just she's like, she's like, I've never had one of these. I was like, well, let's get it. She's like, we'll never be able to take it on the plane. I was like, so we leave like food behind. Like somebody will fucking eat it. It's packaged. Like, don't worry about that. Like, just let's try it out. Like, fuck, you're 76. What are you waiting for, man? Like, fucking, if you want to try a strawberry cream oatmeal, try the fucking thing, man. I'll get you a whole box and shit. And she wound up packing them in her fucking luggage to take back to Florida. Something you can easily get at any goddamn grocery store. So, had a blast at fucking Walmart. And then I posted pictures on Instagram. I was like, hey, man, fucking like went to Memphis with Mom, saw Graceland. And then got a slew of fucking people in the comments going, that is the most dangerous part of Memphis. And that is the most dangerous Walmart. Then you took your mother to it and shit. And in retrospect, I guess it was kind of like, you know, unsettling that. But I was like, who comes to Walmart? I mean, how could I be judgy? I was at Walmart at midnight. So I was like, I guess everybody goes to Walmart at midnight. You know, like maybe there's nothing to do in Memphis. As if Beale
Shoot up a
Street
Walmart.
doesn't exist. I'm like, yeah, I guess everyone goes to Walmart and shit. But it was fucking packed and shit. And I would have been an easy mark, man, because I had like a crippled lady with me and shit. They could have knocked her down. I would have been like, here, take it all, you know. But I think maybe because I had a crippled mother with me, people didn't fuck with me. Yeah, they were like, you know what, fucking too easy. Let them go. But it was, what an adventure, man. Enjoyed the fuck out of it.
Your visit to Graceland was far different from my visit to Graceland.
Why? What'd you do?
I mean, I went when I was like 27 years old or so. I was driving cross country and we're like, fuck it, let's go to Graceland. We were there for like 45 minutes. I'm like, he stole all this from Little Richard and then left. Fuck your house, king.
That was the guy I went in as, too. I was a real, like, well, I mean, like, I get it. He's a singer, but, like, you know, he didn't write a lot of these songs. I respect singer-songwriters. And then, like, you really listen to his shit, and like any good actor or performer, he can take material that he didn't write and make it feel like it comes out of his fucking heart and soul. I just get it now. In a way, like, it's not like I never got it. I just never really thought about it. But now I, like, really fucking get it. But I'm full of fucking annoying Elvis factoids. My wife
I can't wait for the next rest of my life.
Yeah, oh. Get ready. 2022 is all Elvis podcast and shit. My wife is like, oh, it's going to be fucking a lot of Elvis for the next week, isn't it? I was like, I know a lot right now. Graceland. He did not name it Graceland.
No?
He bought it, and it was already called Graceland. Is that fucked up? Didn't you just imagine he named it Graceland?
I would have thought.
And then you'd be like, well, why would he name it Graceland? It's not like his mom's name was Grace. His mom's name was Gladys, so wouldn't he name it Gladysland? So there was really no reason to think that he did name it Graceland, and he didn't. It was an estate called Graceland before he bought it. Had 100 acres. He bought the house and 14 acres or something, and kept the name. And, you know, put up those new gates and shit, and bam. Crazy, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that you had that kind of pop cultural epiphany.
I did. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel jealous in a weird way of the ability to deep dive in a thing that nobody's deep dived in for a while. It's like, did you guys hear about Elvis Presley? Have you heard the good news about the king of rock and roll?
I am. I'm like a newborn Christian, man. Like born again and born again Christian and shit. Where I'm like, let me fucking sell you on Jesus. They're like, yeah, I've got he's on a magnet on my fridge. I'm good.
Have you heard of Elvis? Elvis Presley? No. Yeah, no, I got it. Not Costello, right? Yeah, no, Presley you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess it's not really a hot take. I come to things. Sometimes I come to things late in life, kids. Look, it ain't fucking directing my first short, but I had a good time at fucking Graceland.
Yes, no, I appreciate
and it was really more about my mom.
Yes, it very much was. And your tourism is delightful.
I got a lot out of it as well. But yeah, man, fucking, what an impressive life. Like 200 gold records or some such shit. There's a wall. I took a photo of my mom in front of the wall. I had to literally lay down on the ground to get all of the gold records in. They just got them stacked up on this giant fucking wall. It was really, really impressive and shit. The house itself, though, not to be judgy, not very big. Like you could fit, I'm not being braggy, but you can fit about 4 of them into my house. But somebody pointed out on tour, I'm not humble bragging, but somebody and if you see the house, you would understand what I mean. It's not, you know, you think Graceland, a mansion, you get in, there's a hallway, and there's right away staircase, very thin hallway here, and then there's a living room and a kitchen. And then it used to be a back porch. They enclosed it, and that became the jungle room. Upstairs, you can't go upstairs. There's his bedroom, Lisa Marie's bedroom. There's a bathroom, and that's it. So it's not fucking huge. A lot of grounds and shit. Like they got horses and whatnot. But the house itself is not that big. And somebody pointed out it was built in 1940. This was huge for 1940. And I was like, why? Were people little then? Like, what? I don't get it. Because the ceilings aren't that high at all. Like, it feels like you could fall off the roof and be okay. Like that, I was really kind of taken aback by.
Did you try?
Not at all. But they won't let you near that second floor, let alone the roof.
Did you ever try to do that? Like jump off a
roof?
Like an awning or something?
I think at Tanya Steffen's house, we jumped off her roof into her pool once. Did you?
Yeah, I thought I could make a parachute out of garbage bags.
How old?
7.
All right. Excusable. I thought you were going to be like 17.
Yeah, 32. No, and yeah, so I jumped off like this awning over my driveway, and it didn't slow me down at all. I thought there'd be more.
You were Wile E. Coyote.
I was 400% like, foom, right? Like it's going to catch, and then I'll just kind of like hover down to the ground like a fucking, no. No, I just hit the garbage cans like hard.
What'd you learn, Charlie Brown?
Gravity.
Yeah.
That's a rule, right? Law, maybe? I don't know.
One of them fucking laws. I just realized I'm still wearing my coat, and I wanted to wear that so I could tell this story. So I was traveling with my mother, and I was in the airport, and we were going to Orlando. Yes, I think going to Orlando, and waiting for a flight from Nashville to Orlando. And a lady walks past me, and she goes, this is exactly how I'm dressed. She goes, nice robe. I know where you're going. And it was so fucking cryptic. I was like, to hell? Like, what the? Ma? Like, I was so scared. And I was trying to piece it together. But first I turned to my mother and I go, does this coat look like I'm wearing a bathrobe? And she goes, no, it looks like a coat. I was like, that lady called it a robe. And she goes, wheel me over to that lady. And I was like, I ain't letting you start an old lady fight in the airport and shit like that. It was just weird. And I was sitting there going, what the fuck could it mean? Then when we landed in Orlando, I was waiting with my mom at the curbside. Somebody was picking her up because then I had to get on a flight to come back here. And the lady came by and she stops me and goes, I thought you were wearing a robe and going to the Harry Potter land. She's going, but now I see it's not really a robe. And I was like, Ma, did you fucking talk to that lady at one point? But she must have thought about it. Like after she said something to me, she must have walked away and maybe said to her husband, like, I said to that man, nice robe. And he was like, what are you, fucking high? It's clearly a coat, man.
Like, I thought it was a robe because you're also wearing shorts, which is a weird thing, but okay.
It's true. I didn't fight her. I wasn't like, madam, I'm offended. You know, I was like, that's the nicest thing anyone said about my outfit in a long time. Like,
this is a Brooks Brothers robe, I'll have you know.
She was one step away from, you look like a hobbit, young man. All right, enough about our lives. Shall we dive
Bamf.
into... Oh, hey, give it up for Bamf Man, ladies and gentlemen. JC's in the house. What do you got for us, Bamf Man?
I was just going to say, at least she didn't point at you and go, Hufflepuff.
Oh, shit. That would hurt.
But also with all the Elvis talk,
yes.
Austin Butler, one of the stars of Yoga Hosers, is playing Elvis.
Yes, that's true. One of the Austin, who was in Yoga Hosers, who's such a fucking committed actor. Like, oh my God, he went full Canadian on that movie. Nobody else tried for an accent, not even the girls, but he fucking went for it. He's like, Does this sound convincing? And I was like, Jesus Christ, Austin. I was like, I read the script. Don't treat it that seriously. But he did, man. He's like all in as an actor and shit. So he played Tex, I think, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But he got cast in Baz Luhrmann's fucking Elvis movie, which they put out a tiny teaser for like a couple weeks ago, where you see a few shots of him as Elvis. But I was always looking forward to that based on the fact that A, I love Baz Luhrmann, B, I love Austin Butler. and see, it felt like it was going to be a big movie. But now, with my newfound appreciation for Elvis, I'm going to be, don't see the movie with me, because the whole movie I'll be leaning over and be like, that part's not true. And then I'll probably provide the real information. Yeah. But yeah, I can't wait to see that flick. That was delayed by, that was the movie where Tom Hanks plays Colonel Tom Parker, and he got COVID on that fucking movie, right?
Oh,
that
right.
Was
that was the beginning
movie.
of the Hanks Wilson line.
That's true.
Where we didn't care about COVID, and then Tom Hanks got it, and then we were like, "Oh shit, COVID's real.
Yeah.
It might take America's Tom Hanks."
Yeah. If it can happen to Gump, it can happen to all of us. Yeah, man, I look forward to that movie in a big bad way.
So yeah, that was about an hour on Elvis.
There's a delightful person that after every episode does the times with little URLs
time
connected
slugs
to them on when we talk about things in the show. So it'll say fucking native ad 4 minutes 23 seconds. Then it'll start Mark director talk half hour. Then it'll be like Kevin Elvis talk an interminable hour.
Yeah. It'll be like Kevin Elvis question mark.
Then there'll be like news finally or something like that. So yeah, we're pretty deep into the show, but what the fuck? It's the last show of the year, ladies and gentlemen. You'll forgive us for going long tonight.
Bam.
Banff Man is back. He's making the show even longer. What do you got for us, Banff Man?
For all the people in chat who are like, they're still talking about Elvis, and all the future people, pretend when Kevin says Elvis, he's talking about weed.
Yes.
And the whole story.
That's true.
changes.
The last time I got this excited about a subject, it was weed. So I'm smoking Elvis right now. We're done with fucking Elvis. But for a show about fandom, I would hope you'd be a little more tolerant.
Fuck him and John Wayne.
All right, shall we dive into the news? That's all they give a fuck about. We'll give you your goddamn news.
We totally can.
Marc Bernardin used to do the news. He's a fucking director now.
No time for news, but I did it anyway.
But he did it anyway. Give it up for Mark. He brought you the news.
News.
Can I get I know I'm over my limit, but can I get another one of these? I'm going hard on the water tonight.
Can I get another Wakanda Forever? I'm going hard.
Get him drunk. Director drunk.
Action.
Thank you. Okay, what do you got for us, Captain?
Well, I think the last time we were here, last time we gathered together, we gave some thoughts on Cowboy Bebop. What? Do you guys know something I don't know about what happened to Cowboy Bebop? It's like you guys might have read the news before I get to read the news. So yeah, Cowboy Bebop was canceled after its very first season.
I mean, that was awfully fast and made me scared for Masters of the Universe. I'm like, man, they gave it one season? They do that?
Well,
If I'd known that, I would have done a different storyline, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what's going to be the story there, but I was kind of surprised that one and done. It seemed like an expensive show. I guess maybe that has something to do with it.
According to Deadline, the live-action take on the anime classic was met with mixed reviews by critics and fans of the original, and the series also didn't make a lasting impression in the streamer's top 10 rankings. Because of how expensive Cowboy Bebop was, given its filming in New Zealand, and the 9-month break they took when John Cho broke his arm, or his collarbone, I think, doing a stunt.
It had to take how long?
Like somewhere between 8 and 9 months, just down because of his injury and his rehab.
That'll hurt.
The viewership bar it had to clear in order to secure renewal was higher, which would explain why the cancellation was swifter than usual for Netflix, which traditionally waits at least a full 28-day to get their audience data before making pickup decisions. And it had only premiered on November 19th.
Yeah, that was rather accelerated.
It was.
What's that? So what is that? Banff Man?
It's the bubbles.
The eggs?
Let's turn it. I mean,
it's maybe rattling against a bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah, just unplug it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's the sound of your life again.
Well, it was sounding like my wife in bed at night at 3 a.m. and shit. Just. What are you doing? Nothing. Go to bed.
Turn the channel on the TV. The remote's real loud.
No, I'm going back to bed.
Are you sanding a table?
All right.
Yeah. So no more Cowboy Bebop, boys and girls.
Well, fuck. I hope we're not doing a story similar to this one day about our very own Masters of the Universe. Somebody brought this box. Whose box is this? Who brought this cool ass box? Fucking that was. They sent that as a hey, watch the show. Fucking, I wish they would have sent me one. Very, very cool. Yeah. Nothing but nice things being said about Nice 2, at least in season 2, at least in my Twitter feed. I hate saying that because anytime I do say that, then a bunch of people show up in my Twitter feed to be like, bullshit, we're still here, fuck you. I understand, I'm not saying the whole fucking world, but I'm saying like mostly I see the nice.
We were just taking a break for lunch.
Yes. We were fucking busy with gay Superman. We're back. But fingers crossed for season 2.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. But let's pour one out for Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop.
Did they have an open-ended season finale?
Yeah, I think they were definitely planning on more story because there was more story to be told. But the best laid plans. What is there? There was a saying that I was fond of on the set, which is everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. That's what like Muhammad Ali used to say. It's like everybody's got a plan in the ring until they get punched in the face, and then all your plans go out of the fucking wayside because now you're in a fight.
Fair enough.
No plan survives a contact with the enemy, and so they had a plan.
That is a fucking deep enough quote. Make me fall down a Muhammad Ali hole. I'll tell you right now, man. I'm like, that's profound.
That's profound. But yeah, they had a plan, but no plan survives a contact with the audience, and the audience was not there, and so sadly, it is the end of the road. See ya, Space Cowboy.
That's
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Good news though
is we got renewed.
I have different good news.
Oh fuck.
Sorry. Charlie Cox has officially been recognized and named as the MCU's Daredevil.
Yeah, give it up for Charlie Cox being real finally.
Now,
Kevin Feige declared that he is the MCU's Daredevil.
He did.
And how and when they'll use him, they'll come to see. But he said he's the Daredevil.
Now, whether or not it is listen, you guys are going to see this fucking Spider-Man movie in a week. I might as well say, or not.
And we've seen the photo. He's definitely in the movie.
Right. So, and no spoilers. I haven't seen it yet. Don't know what it's about.
What?
Spider-Man.
No, but we get to see it Thursday.
Well, technically everybody does because it opens on Thursday.
That's why I said we.
Very nice. But yes, so that ends any speculation as to what would happen there. And again, Hawkeye seems to be leading us towards getting to see Kingpin.
Yes.
And so,
especially after last week's episode.
So it seems.
Although last week's episode was like, holy shit, they spent a little money on the kid from the Black Widow movie, the fucking
Florence
Pugh. Yeah. She came in at the end of the show. Her dive off the top of the building was fucking dope. Like where she did she threw down the fucking cable, did the run, turned around, and fucking looked at her as she dove. I love shit like that. But at one point, you literally were seeing two Hawkeyes versus Echo and a Black Widow. I liked when Hawkeye was like, don't you understand how serious this is? Someone hired a Black Widow. That was dope. This was the episode where I liked Jeremy Renner a lot more than I had liked him previous. Not like I didn't like him in the first few episodes, but they gave him a real good scene where he talked about I was a weapon that they just used, the good people used on the right people and stuff.
My favorite scene so far, I think it's in episode 3, where his hearing aid is busted.
Yes.
And his son calls, and at first he doesn't know it's his son, and then Kate has to translate for him. It broke my heart. Because it's the thing they're playing with is the tonnage of this guy's life and how it weighs on him. And he can't escape it no matter how much he wants to. And the feeling that he would just love to be able to have a conversation with his kid, or be home for movie night, or be home for like, Dad, it's okay if you don't make it home for Christmas. Just like, oh my God, look at Hawkeye.
It's his fucking fault. He shouldn't have fucking, spoilers, put on the Ronin suit and gone on and fucked with the underworld. Now he's got to pay the fucking price.
I mean,
I read comic books. That's justice.
That's karma biting you in the ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of stuff, you know, it's a small scene. It is not plot at all. It is just, here's who this guy is, and here's the price he's paying for what he's doing. And even though the stakes are small, in that it's not saving the world from a galactic beast, the stakes are actually really, really fucking high, which is to be able to be the father he's never been able to be before, and now shit is getting in the way. Insightful take, Mark. I feel the kid continues to be the standout, Haley Stanfield. I'll watch a bunch of Kate Bishop shit. Somebody I saw online was theorizing that they may be related, they may have her related to the Julia Louis-Dreyfus character, the Contessa. I read a pretty convincing theory that I was like, wow, I guess that could be. Based on the presence of menorahs and what is the box they put on the side of the door? Mezuzah.
A mezuzah, which ties into possibly the Contessa character. You know, they're always playing deep cuts with these shows. Kingpin looks like could be,
because these could be the only two Jewish characters in the MCU.
Yeah, they're like,
so they must be related.
We better put them together
until Ben Grimm shows up.
That and Kitty Pryde until Ben Grimm shows up. Well done. Yeah, it continues to be a charming little fucking show, man. That dude's definitely the swordsman. But it looks like Kingpin may show up this next episode. What's his fuck? Vincent D'Onofrio been making very obvious tweets on the subject.
It seems as if, like, if you get to be a certain age, like, you don't give a fuck about Marvel's security or whatever. It's like, what are you gonna do? I'm Vincent D'Onofrio.
I don't know, because he's still being guarded, man. I think everybody's scared of fucking Kevin Feige. Nobody wants to get kicked out of the Marvel party and shit, especially for something as lame as, like, I couldn't keep my fucking mouth shut. Like, if you do, you deserve to be tossed out of fucking paradise. That's like biting the apple or whatever the fuck. I hate to take it biblical, but let me take it back to Elvis and put it this way. Internet's like, move the fuck on!
Just when you thought you were out, he pulled you back in.
Right on.
Yeah.
I guess we sidebarred into a fucking Hawkeye review.
We did, which is totally fine. That's
Yeah.
how the show works. We sidebarred the fuck into an Elvis review.
That's true.
Have you heard about the Elvis?
That's true. Have you heard the good news?
Yeah.
There's a boy born in Tupelo and moved to Memphis.
He was born in the ghetto.
In the ghetto. That's 70s Elvis. There's an Elvis for all seasons, man.
My favorite Elvis was belt Elvis. When he started putting on the fucking jumpsuits, and then the fatter he got, the wider the belts got.
Yeah.
So, like, the belts were ultimately, like, below his neck. He was like a wrestler who never wrestled, and it just, yeah.
Most of his career, the dude was, like, pencil thin. He's 6 feet tall, real thin waist. He was Fat Elvis for only about a year. But there are so many pictures of him as Fat Elvis that most people are like, oh, he was Fat Elvis for a long time, but he wasn't.
It was a very good year.
I mean, I guess at a certain point he was just like, fuck it. Well, he
butter
also
banana.
had some issues too. He was, look, let's move on. Fucking, this is not the fucking Elvis show. This is the fucking Fat Man Beyond.
Are you sure this is your present to the world for the holiday show,
People
guys?
are like, why did we tune in for this? Welcome to Elvis Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
If you do another hour on Elvis,
Yeah.
we'll be about the Q&A away from watching Hawkeye together at midnight.
Oh, shit. That's true. We could all fucking keep talking Elvis and make it to Hawkeye.
So
The
tell us
internet's
about
like, fuck you. Stop talking about Elvis. To keep it back on point,
Yeah.
Elvis.
I'd like to.
Elvis, we said before he was a comic book fan.
Yeah.
But he's a big Captain Marvel fan. And it's reflected in the cape size. So he don't like Superman. Superman wears a long cape. But if you look at Elvis's capes, which he only wore a few times in his career, not all the time, but when he wore the capes, it was the Captain Marvel-sized cape. There you go, internet. Relevant to your geeky interests right there. Elvis can be still cool for the comic book kids as well.
Did they tell you the story about when Forrest Gump taught him to dance?
Did that happen in Forrest Gump? Oh, that's right, he does. My God, I haven't seen that in such a long time. The reference went over my head. I was trying to remember. I was like, did they mention a fucking thing about Forrest Gump? Maybe I didn't go on the VIP tour. But, oh, that's right. In the movie, he fucking teaches Elvis to...
I either never want to talk about Elvis again or only talk about Elvis and make a 24-hour show. Which I feel like at some point we should do. The fact that we haven't in the 8 years of doing this podcast
is do an Elvis show already
around the clock. Like let's.
Oh my God, you're speaking my language. I could do a 24-hour show,
yeah.
And it wouldn't be like when Mike Lindell was like, "I'm doing 24 hours," and then he did an hour and walked off. I will literally do 24 fucking hours and shit.
All right, I think we need to figure that out for next year.
We do it as like a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Jerry Lewis, can't we raise the funds for ourselves? Like fucking like me and Mark are gonna do 24 hours. We're looking to make 20 grand so we can split 20 grand a piece. We want 10 grand for staying awake for 24 hours. There's the tote board. You better start ringing in. I guarantee you we can make that money.
Yes. I'd like to raise some money for the United Negro Pizza Fund.
I will donate some of my money to the United Negro Pizza Fund.
I'm stealing that from a homeless dude that I saw outside Penn Station once, like 20 years ago, and I gave him fucking money because that's the best sign I'd ever seen.
It is pretty sweet.
It was literally out there. It was like cold and rainy out, and he had his fucking bell. He's like, "I'm raising money for the United Negro Pizza Fund. Do not let an appetite go to waste." And I was like, "Motherfucker, here is $20."
Do not let an appetite go to waste.
Penn Station is for winners.
What other news stories do we have?
What ho? More news?
Yeah, I mean, otherwise I'm going to start telling you more Elvis shit.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the toilet he died on was on the tour.
No, they don't show you that.
They don't?
Oh, that's what everyone...
Oh, that's weird?
Yeah, they don't let you upstairs. That's where he died, but for the chief reason that, like, everybody would be taking pictures of the fucking bathroom and shit.
Do you know, I had a friend go...
You're making us do it again. The internet is on fire because we're talking about Elvis in a bad way.
I'm not talking about Elvis now. Okay. I had a friend who went to a Halloween party at the Jackson family residence.
Ooh. As a child?
No. Like this year.
Oh.
They still throw parties every year. The Jackson family throws a big fat Halloween party.
Do they really?
And he was like, you walk through that house, and they have like busts of Michael all over the place. Like there's Thriller Michael, there's Remember the Time Michael, there's History Michael, there's Billie Jean Michael. And he was like, how fucked up is it that their dead son's face is like everywhere?
Yeah.
And like then they dress it up for Halloween.
They put like wigs on it,
yeah,
hats on the busts.
And then they have like waiters dressed as Michael handing out drinks.
Wow. That is an on-brand party.
I was like, oh, it all checks out.
Wow.
So, the news. 6 Feet Under might be coming back.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Speaking of dead people.
Look, I liked 6 Feet Under quite a bit. I particularly think it's one of the best series finales of all time. And you have to be a fucking robot not to get emotional at the series finale, even if you weren't a fan of the whole fucking show. It's so insanely well done. That being said, how is that fucking relevant to our interests on this show? I know Elvis isn't, but like, how is this geek worthy?
This is where you're calling bullshit.
Yeah, you've hit my line, Mark. I'm just curious, what is the geek angle of this, other than
you were a fan, and I was like, oh, Kevin will like this story.
I do. I appreciate it.
See? Done.
Good looking out.
See?
Sometimes the stories are for me.
You fucking bite my head off. What the fuck are we talking about this for? Because you like it?
I don't think I pulled the fuck word, but in my head I was like, what the fuck is he talking about this for?
Why
we could have been talking about Elvis this whole time.
Like, did Did you cross the Elvis barrier? Because if it's not better than Elvis, we're talking about Elvis again.
The Rubicon of Elvis?
The Rubicon of Elvis.
Yes.
So yeah, that's may or may not be happening. Moving on.
I'm happy that it's happening. Is it all? I mean,
They commissioned a script.
Well, based on the fucking series finale, we know what happened. We know when they all die.
Everybody dies.
And they show us all of their deaths, so it'd be weird to see a little bit more of their lives going like, yeah, but we know what happens.
I mean, technically, we always know what happens to every story. They
Yeah,
die.
that's true. But we saw exactly how each of them fucking died.
True.
But you know what? They're good storytellers. They'll figure it out. I'm on board.
Excellent. Glad we sorted that out.
You know what? I'm subscribing to HBO. Oh, I already do, so fuck me.
This year, they revealed the names of the 25 movies added to the National Film Registry.
People joining me in this very exclusive club.
Indeed. Clerks made the list last year.
Not last year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago? I thought we were
Yeah,
talking about last year.
2019, I believe.
I mean, you would know better than me.
Yeah, it was while we were touring Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, because I was like, oh my God, like, everything's coming up Millhouse. This is amazing. Got my feet in the cement. Now I got the film in the National Film Registry. Who got added? Who did I beat? That's really the question.
Who did you beat?
Yeah.
The films that are notable to this audience.
Yeah.
Wall-E made it in 2008. Lord of the
How the fuck
Rings.
did I beat Wall-E, man?
beat
Wall-E's
Wall-E.
an amazing movie.
Fellowship of the Ring made it this year.
Which one is that? The first
That
one?
is the first.
I beat fucking Peter Jackson?
You did.
To quote him from the fucking trailer for fucking Lord of the Rings, now is the time. It's a deep cuts fucking joke, isn't it?
Also, it could have been anybody with an accent in any movie ever. Now's the time.
But everybody who knows that trailer,
That's
is
a
just like,
knife.
wow,
That's
man.
not a knife.
Do me a favor, tell me in chat if people are like, that's a deep cuts amazing fucking joke. Or if people are like, as long as he's not talking about Elvis, I don't give a shit.
You also beat Stop Making Sense.
What?
Yes.
Jonathan Demme's Talking Heads picture, the first home video I ever bought at the price of $99. I didn't buy it. It was a gift bought for me.
Wow. That's some love.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
I beat Richard Marquand's Return of the Jedi
You did.
onto the list. Wow, man. That's because all Jedi had was a bunch of fucking Muppets.
You also beat Richard Pryor live in concert.
Oh, what a sacrilege.
Pink Flamingos.
Oh, my God. They put
Yeah,
John
Waters.
Thank you. I smoked his name away for a second. On the list. I wonder if that's the first time he got on.
I don't know.
Something tells me like Hairspray might have hit the list before, but thank God that Pink Flamingos is on there. Very cool.
Indeed.
Wait, it was Pink Flamingos?
It was Pink Flamingos.
What was the first movie he did? Not Trash Car. What was it?
Fuck.
Before Pink Flamingos.
Yeah. No.
The one where Divine eats shit off the ground. Or is that Pink Flamingos? That's Pink Flamingos. The one before that. Whatever.
I smoked it away.
Good to know that John Waters is on the list too.
And Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Holy shit!
And
Really?
Strangers on a Train was never on
Wow,
before.
those are classy movies.
Those are classy movies.
Well, welcome to the club, kids.
Yes.
How nice.
I'm going to warn you now. We're bringing it down for these last two news items.
Is it any more down than my Lisa Marie Presley deep dive? Because that was down.
One of them is.
Oh.
The first is R.I.P. Anne Rice.
Man, why do people have to die? Who died?
Anne Rice.
Anne Rice passed away?
Anne Rice passed away.
Must have happened when I was at Graceland.
Probably. At 80 years old.
She was 80?
She was 80.
She didn't dress 80. She dressed like emo.
She dressed like an immortal witch is how she dressed.
Wow, man.
But yeah, her son Christopher Rice announced the news of her passing on Anne Rice's Facebook page. Right?
What a successful career.
Yes. I mean,
By any fucking measurement. And genre. Hardcore. She made vampires cool again.
yeah, I mean it's
And not sparkly.
it's hard to overstate just how much of an impact that Interview with a Vampire had on that particular genre.
Yeah.
Because until then, it was just Dracula. And every version of vampires was some kind of Dracula pastiche. You know, it was Dracula and Nosferatu. Nosferatu got less love, but it was always like, he's an aristocrat in a suit. And he's always coming from Transylvania and always doing fucking sparkly party shit. And then it was New Orleans and dark and immortal and over
Brad
time.
Pitt and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you know, and who she famously did not want to play.
Yeah, what's that
Lestat.
about? Who did she want to play Lestat?
I don't recall her choice, but I think maybe she wanted like Mick Jagger or somebody, a bit more rock and roll.
But Tom Cruise, I thought, did a really good job. You
I
you
loved
were
it.
a fan of the books, right?
I was a huge fan of the books. I think, you know, if you're of a certain age, you read those books in high school. And it was always the two. It was always like Interview with the Vampire and the Vampire Lestat. And she very much was like, I don't think Tom Cruise is right. I don't think he's got the weight and the heft. And then she saw the movie and she recanted her criticism. She was like, I was wrong.
Is that right?
Yeah. And rarely do people do that. Admit, like, no, I bad call. He's phenomenal.
Fucking hey, good for her, man. I thought he was good. I thought he was really good.
Yeah. I mean, and it remains incredibly surprising to me that they never made the Vampire Lestat. Because Interview with the Vampire made a shit ton of money.
It did, that they never kept going.
They never kept going because...
Well, they did other vampire movies,
They
just
did.
not
Just
the
not
same
that one.
director, not the same.
And not
Was
Tom
it Neil
Cruise.
Jordan did that?
Yes.
Same guy that did
Company of Wolves,
and also, whatchamacallit?
Crying Game.
Yeah, Crying Game. Very excellent film.
But
Well,
yeah,
that dude was on a roll for a couple of years with those movies, man. Back
he
to
did
back.
all right. Just this past August, AMC announced a new Interview with the Vampire series with a fellow named Sam Reed playing Lestat. They got into the Anne Rice business big, and there's a whole sort of cycle and circuit of new Anne Rice TV stuff that's going to be coming out. But it is
Certainly enough material.
plenty. She wrote long and she wrote hard about vampires and mummies and werewolves and witches and erotica. She wrote the movie Exit to Eden. Do you remember that weird Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah, she wrote that as well.
Yep.
Dan Aykroyd and Rosie O'Donnell in fetish gear.
If nothing says sexy, then Rosie O'Donnell and Dan Aykroyd in fetish game. Fancy that, it was a flop.
What's by any standard, what a successful writing career. Very imaginative. Changed the game. As a writer, you hope to do a quarter of what she was able to accomplish. And she kept going, man. There was a minute where, fucking those books were everything and shit. And even when people turned their attention to something else, she still kept going.
Still kept going. She loved that world. She loved these characters. She loved writing. She lived in New Orleans for a decent chunk of her life and was a fixture in that town. And she'll be buried in I think it's the Metairie Cemetery. I think a plot that the family's had for a while.
I don't know if this is accurate, but they told me once that everything. You all right?
Okay.
Everything there is buried above ground because you can't sink it into the earth. The earth will spit it back up because it's marshy or something.
Yeah,
like
the
that.
water table is so high that...
It's below sea level. Is that right? Andrew, is that Andrew?
That's Andrew chiming in.
Always, we got to put a fucking camera on you, man. You got to be Banff Man too.
Yeah, there. I don't know why I'm remembering this, but I remember going to Venice, Italy.
Yeah.
Some 20 some odd years ago, and there was an island off the coast of Venice that is just the cemetery island, because you can't actually bury anybody in Venice because again it's sinking, and so there's an island that you have to lease a mausoleum, and you got to keep paying for it over time, and if you can't make that payment, then you will be
Exhumed?
just get out, hit the bricks,
Dig
buddy.
him up and throw his body into the sea.
No, then you become cremated.
Oh,
if
is
you
that
can't
right?
do that. But there's
And then they just throw you on the beach.
yeah, it's in the water.
Much cheaper this way.
Yeah, but the fact that there's a whole island just for the care and feeding of dead bodies.
You give a shit what they do with your body after you're done?
Not especially.
You don't have a preference? Above ground, below ground, burned to
I guess
death?
I'm a traditionalist, so I
Yeah.
suppose inter me in the ground, but I won't be here, so do what you will. I did find, you know what? I will talk about Elvis for one more second.
I'm so glad you brought him up because I was just about to.
I just want to. I remember you telling the story about Lisa Marie Presley wanting to put the bracelet on her father.
Yeah.
And the kindness of the mortuary, the whatever,
The guy, the
to
funeral
lie
director.
to her and tell her that the bracelet would be on her father's body for eternity, because the body swells when it decomposes, and so that bracelet is at some point going to pop off of dead Presley's body and just lie at the bottom of a coffin.
That's how you wanted to talk about Elvis Presley?
Yeah! Fuck that dude! Woo! Sorry, did I go over the top?
Somewhere Lisa Marie Presley is like shit wasn't hard enough. Is that so? That would definitely be the case.
I believe so.
I thought bodies like got thinner and shit. What if he's embalmed? They took all the stuff out. That was what I was going to bring up. They got his brain and his heart still in a thing in Memphis. They didn't put that in him.
Is it writing new songs?
Yeah. They also took out his guts to do the autopsy and stuff. So there was a conspiracy about how he looked heavier before he died than when they laid him out in the casket. But that was that's because we took most of his guts out to do the autopsy and stuff.
The autopsy slims 10 pounds.
Yeah, that's why I was so happy to read that, because I was like, shit, right before I die, I'm going to get as fat as I want. Because at the end, I'll be like, I demand an autopsy, and it'll make me fucking thin for the burial and shit.
Nice.
Nice that somebody else will do the work for me, after all. What else we got?
Our final story.
Oh, that's it? That's all the news?
That is it.
That's fit to print?
That's fit to print.
Even with fucking Spider-Man Far From Home coming out, we got no news there?
I'm fucking muting everything Spider-Man related on the internet.
I can't fucking wait. I literally can't wait. I was excited to see this movie as I was to see Empire Strikes Back when I was fucking 9 years old, man. I can't wait. Like, it fucking sounds phenomenal. You know who? Even my fucking wife, I was watching a trailer and she goes, I'll go see that. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I got so hard right there. I was like, oh, watch me masturbate. Well, hell, there'd be a losing affair to be like, let's fuck. She'd be like, you're out of your mind. I was like, just look at it while it happens.
I'm going to take care of business in a flash.
Do you know he liked Shazam? Well, she was into it.
The spunk of Hercules.
She's going to see it with me, with all of us. We're going to go see it on Thursday and stuff.
Oh,
but she was down, man, like a clown. I was like, oh, because that means I get to watch the fucking first two one more time before we go, because I got to like re-educate her and stuff. Like, this is what's been happening. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Are you ready for me to bring you down one more time?
Oh, fuck.
I know, you were like riding high on Spider-Man and Elvis.
That Spider-Man. All right, what happened?
George Perez.
Oh, I know this.
Yes. The
Everybody
legendary,
knows this? It's out there?
Yeah, it is. The legendary artist whose work on Crisis on Infinite Earths and Wonder Woman and The Avengers and Infinity Gauntlet.
What hasn't he redefined and touched? Two of the most beautiful hands God ever placed on this earth. Most gifted hands.
Revealed last Tuesday that he's been diagnosed with stage 3 pancreatic cancer.
Fuck.
The diagnosis was on November 27th, and at 67, he was given between 6 months and a year to live, and he's opted not to undergo treatment. In a statement, he says, I've been given the option of chemotherapy and or radiation therapy, but after weighing all the variables and assessing just how much of my remaining days would be eaten up by doctor's visits, treatments, hospital stays, and dealing with the often stressful and frustrating bureaucracy of the medical system, I've opted to just let nature take its course, and I will enjoy whatever time I have left as fully as possible with my family, friends, and fans. He's planning on making one last public appearance to meet with fans and will continue signing autographs, but he did retire from comicking in January 2019 due to health issues. This is not a message I enjoyed writing, he says, especially during the holiday season. But oddly enough, I'm feeling the Christmas spirit more now than I have in many years. Maybe it's because it will likely be my last. Or maybe it's because I'm enveloped in the loving arms of so many who love me as much as I love them. It's quite uplifting to be told that you've led a good life, and that you've brought joy to so many lives, and that you'll be leaving the world a better place because you were part of it.
Come on, man. That's some real shit right there. That's a motherfucker facing the unfaceable and facing it with grace and a sense of kindness and warmth to share that. Mm-hmm. You know, whether or not like you agree with, you know, whether he should continue the fight or whatever, it's fucking heartbreaking that somebody so fucking talented is going to be taken by something so fucking common. You know, if you're going to take an artist that gifted, you know, take him out with a meteor or some such shit, not something as common as fucking cancer. They don't have this shit licked yet. Like,
yeah, but it's to quote another passage from your favorite movies, you can't. It's not for us to decide how much time we have left, but just for us to decide what to do with the time we have. And he's decided that I just want to live the last part of my life as I've lived the rest of it, which is maybe I want to draw some. I definitely want to meet some fans. I want to do one more convention, and then go out on his own terms. And I got nothing but respect.
Me too.
For that dude. And I hope...
Such a sweet man, too.
That,
he was on Comic Book Men as well.
Yeah?
We have a shirt hanging up in the store.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but, fantastic stories from professionals and fans alike who just met him at some point over the years, and he just made their day, in tiny ways. I saw some guy on Twitter say, wouldn't it be great if Marvel and DC could kind of put the beef aside and reprint JLA versus the Avengers?
That's right, because he did that.
Because he did that art, and it's been out of print forever because neither of them are willing to give up the potential royalties to the other guy.
That would be really fucking nice, and give it all to George, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, or to his family, to the charity of his choice, or whatever it is.
To George. He's not gone yet. He's just not opting to go with chemo. Yeah. He could keep going. Stranger things have happened.
Indeed. But he is a titan of the industry. Yeah. And we were lucky to have him, and we're lucky to have him for as much time as he can give us.
It's fucking heartbreaking. But there's no but. It's just fucking heartbreaking. Way to fucking start with that next time, man.
No,
and end with some Spider-Man action and shit.
Now we're going to make a hard pivot to dick pills. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point. Things are about to get really hard. Mark gave you the news, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Mark with the news. Banff, man, this isn't me fact-checking my friends here at work, but are we missing anything according to chat? Anybody bitching about some shit we haven't talked about?
I don't think so.
Other than no more Elvis?
A lot of people want us to talk about Spider-Man, which we haven't seen.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, how did you not get invited to the premiere? Because I feel like everybody got invited to the premiere but us again.
What a fucking great question. What do you think it is? What are we doing wrong?
I
don't think I've ever said anything negative about a Marvel movie and shit. And they know I like a free fucking anything.
Rob Liefeld was there. He tweeted 400 pictures of himself from the red carpet.
Oh, that's
Rob,
top shade.
Rob is like a comic book icon, You talk about Daddy Deadpool, so that makes sense. But it just feels like we're always like, hey, the latest Marvel movie thing came out. More. What do we got to do to get fucking invited to the party and shit?
Bernie,
I don't even want to go to the party. I just want to see the free movie ahead of time.
Bernie, who sings karaoke
I'm a cheap date.
here.
Literally, they could invite me, and they wouldn't have to worry about he's going to go to the party and eat a bunch of food. I'm like, no, give it to somebody else. I just want to see the movie. That's it.
Yeah, the karaoke crew, they're all like, look at me with Benedict Cumberbatch on the red carpet and stuff. So, the Scum and Villainy cosplay crew was all there last night. And I was like,
where's your fucking cosplay?
Just dress up, bitch.
That's our problem. Yeah, it is kind of weird, man. I get invited to all sorts of premieres and shit, but the premiere that I actually really go to, they rarely, if ever, ask. I can't remember the last time I went to a Marvel thing.
Yeah, I had.
Look, I'll just say it on here in case anyone over there oh, we didn't think he wanted to go. Look, I'll suck dick to go to a premiere. I don't care whose, man. Cumberbatch, fucking Holland. I don't give a shit, man. I want to be in with the cool kids. You?
Guys, confidence can take you far in life. It can also help in the bedroom, especially when it comes time to step up to the plate. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Fall is here and we could all use a stiff breeze. That's right. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew.
Give it up for the good folks at Blue Chew, ladies and gentlemen. And an expertly timed ad read, if I do say so my fine self. Blue Chew, the folks that let you chew your way to a rigid erection. Chew your way to being turgid. I believe that's their motto.
Yeah, I think they love turgid is a great ad word. Yeah. Blue Chew is actually a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets.
How about this? Blue Chew. It's not hard, but it will get you there.
It's not hard yet.
Oh, shit.
The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
Wait, you mean you don't have to go to a fucking dick doctor and deal with the embarrassment of like, I've come for dick pills?
And have the receptionist be like, what's wrong with your dick? I've decided the receptionist
One of those sassy
One of those
receptionists.
sassy receptionists. Yeah, Florence Henderson was still doing receptionist work.
Very loud.
Yes. Now that's a character that I want to play, like along with the
judge?
With the judge.
Do them both.
I'll allow it. What's wrong with your dick?
It's a court case I'd sit through right there. I'd like to do jury duty for that court case.
It's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, this was a robbery, but tell me about your dick. The best part, it's all done online, so no visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations about your dick, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA.
That's a big selling point right there. No waiting in line at the pharmacy.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you right now, whenever I go to the pharmacy and have to wait in line, instantly I start shopping, and I walk out with $200 worth of shit from CVS when my wife is like, we're getting divorced. And I'm like, but this will clean the car. It says it right on the box.
All right, this is the host endorsement personalization part, where we're supposed to riff on one of these thought starters or add our own.
Okay, you're seeing beyond the curtain right now, kids.
With Blue Chew, men everywhere are excited to see the postman, because when your package has arrived, your package has arrived.
Oh, that's a good line right
nice,
there.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? They always say first impressions are important, but what about lasting impressions? All right.
Fair enough. Impression meaning where you put your wiener into?
Sure, yeah. It's time to get off the couch and get back to work. And if your tool needs an upgrade, head to BlueChew.com.
That's pretty. I got a little hard on that one. That was just dirty, flat out fucking filthy.
Yeah.
Throwing the tool word around and shit.
Fucking tools.
Hard T right at the top. Tool. Is your fucking tool ready? Blue Chew. We'll chew your tool.
Guys, there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can help give you the confidence where it counts.
Is that right, ladies? With applauding, with a show of hands, meaning applause. Is there nothing? What did they say?
There's nothing sexier than confidence.
Is there truly nothing sexier than confidence? Put your hands together if you agree with that sentiment.
So
I want to hang out with non-judgmental you, man. That was very cool.
These are two ladies who like to party.
I would imagine sexy. Like if a motherfucker looks sexy, it's like, oh my God, that's way sexier than fucking them being, what did they say?
Confident?
Yeah, it's like, who has anybody, I've never once in my life been like, oh my God, we had sex. And they're like, how was she? I was like, she was so confident. And I don't think I've ever heard any woman describe me as like, he was a very confident lover. Most of the time, they're just like, he flailed around, he tried and shit.
He did his best.
Yeah. I had to soothe his confidence. He has none.
Or the confidence of a serial killer.
That kind of confidence?
Yeah, that's scary.
Or a con game where it's just like, you think you're going to come, but guess what? Fucking Ocean's 12, bitch.
George Clooney's here?
Yeah, here's my crew.
Here's my crew.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
The nose plays. So, call to action. Please read verbatim.
Well done.
So, if you could benefit from extra confidence, which apparently is very sexy, according to two people in the room.
According to this lady right here.
And
She's
this lady
looking
over
for
here
that
too.
Blue Chew confidence that we're talking about.
When it's time to perform, Blue Chew can help. And we've got a special deal for our listeners.
Ooh.
Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code FATMAN at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping.
Oh my God. Even if you never wanted to have an erection in your life, free is fucking free, man. Try it out. See what a boner feels like with Blue Chew.
Why are my pants so tight? Thank you, Blue Chew.
I give you permission to use that line. See what a boner feels like with Blue Chew. It works in either way, right? It's like if I've never had a boner, I'm going to feel what it feels like, or feel what a boner feels like. It's kind of sexy like that. It's better than that fucking Tool line that they use that got me a little hard. At least some blood moved.
Yes. So that's BlueChew.com, promo code FATMAN, to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
We thank the good folks at Blue Chew for fucking having the confidence to sponsor Fat Man Beyond. Give it up for the good folks at Blue Chew.
That was a hard ad read.
Blue Chew Fat Man sounds like an order from a dominatrix. Blue Chew Fat Man. Yes, mistress.
Okay. Down scope. Yeah.
I think we saw an insight into your sex life right there.
With the little miner's flashlight.
Yeah, really. You went to work and shit.
Hell yeah. Put in work.
You're like, I am a director. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in every show where we do the thing that
Talk about Elvis for an
yeah,
hour and a
fucking
half.
where you're going to hear more about Elvis, who was pretty amazing. We like to answer the questions that the folks like to give us and shit. And this is that point of the show. We do Q&A here, and Banff Man is in charge of giving us those questions. He makes the selections, so it makes our lives a lot easier on us. Give it up for JC, Banff Man himself.
Bam. I've got a couple comments from chat first.
Oh, okay. I'm always
They have
curious.
thoughts?
Yeah, I'm curious. What are their notes?
Sapient Haggis said, any chance at some point you can give us a shout out over the pond? We stay up nearly till 7 a.m. watching the show. It's, about that time now in London, wrecking the hell out of our sleep patterns. So people in London watch us from like 4 a.m. till 7 a.m.
I appreciate that, but you could watch it when you wake up and shit. But I guess they like the idea of the live interaction.
Yeah, I think
I
they like being in
appreciate
the
that.
chat.
That's fucking cool. One day, didn't we do it once in England? Yeah,
We
did it
did.
in
Yeah,
London
the
and
London
stuff.
Film and Comic Con.
We'll do it again in England and shit. And then one day you'll be like, it's on my clock, motherfucker. Fuck America. And that's how America got started, I believe, in the first place.
Yes, it's on our clock, bitches.
Yes. But thank you for those overseas. Overseas. Thank you for anyone who's not from fucking Los Angeles who watches the show, because we know it comes on at an odd time and goes
Or
off.
like Hawaii. We're prime time Hawaii.
Is that right? So
Oh,
it's
they
like,
love
oh
it.
my
Yeah,
God,
it's
they're
like
fucking
3 hours, 4 hours before.
check you out. Look at this fucking gorgeous print, man.
Where'd it come from?
Guru Askew. Who brought these in? You're the artist? Get the fuck up here, man. Jump up here. Holy shit. Are you Chogrin? Jump up. We haven't really fucking met, man. So Chogrin did the drawing of this guru that they're doing for
Sideshow.
Sideshow.
For Unruly Industries, yeah. It's their division of vinyl toys.
Number one, I love your art. Look at how fucking clever this piece is. It's got so many like deep cuts, Kevin Smith references. Most especially the one that touched my heart was the Smith Corona personal word processor.
Which I got from coming to the show the last show you guys did before you went to go shoot Clerks.
When I talked about it?
Because you guys talked about your like pieces that you would have in your personal museum, and I was like, oh, writing that down.
That is fucking
I was actually
dope.
gonna
Oh, people actually listen to me in the show? That means someone out there is like, he's right about Elvis.
Well, I've heard the PWP story, like another stuff, because you posted pictures of it. I actually wanted to ask you what model of moped you had, and the bike that you had that your dad like mocked up.
Yes.
Because that's a really good story. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Tell them about this. These are fucking dope. They're coming damn soon.
Oh yeah, and those I designed. Those are coming out next year, in 2022. Mall rats.
I mean, they're literally mall rats. Look, it's
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob as mall rats. Can you see that on camera? Thank you, Andrew. So Chogrin did these. Did you do the sculpts as well?
No, I designed those. Like I did the 2D ones. I think you have one of the wood prints at your house. We
I
did
do.
them-
It's the one that's hanging on my wall.
Yeah, we did them for Gallery 1988.
Yeah.
And we did the prototypes. The Beast Brothers did the sculpts, and I knew I was kind of sort of like gambling, like maybe he'll like them, and now they're going to be toys. So
And I know there's like all different colored editions and stuff.
yeah,
like
this
that.
is the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back edition.
They're fucking gorgeous. I've seen pictures, but I've not seen them like in person.
Yeah,
Oh my
and they're
God.
they're fully not fully articulated, but they have
They can move their arms
limited
and shit.
articulation. Yeah, their wrists move, and those are being released by UVD Toys.
So who's putting it out?
UVD Toys.
DVD toys?
UVD.
UVD toys.
Yeah, yep.
My God, they're fucking gorgeous. Where can they get them? Where can people get this shit
Those
online?
are coming out in 2022. These are technically my prototypes.
Look
So
at you. The prototypes came in, man.
So
Go fucking look at
I saw
this.
that this was the last show, so I was like, oh, I'll bring them in.
I'm so glad you did. Oh my God, and it's got the markers.
Cigarettes
in
and
the bottom.
everything, yeah.
That is fantastic.
Jay even has like a little metal ring,
I saw that
earring,
fucking in
yeah.
his ear. My
Yeah.
God, how awesome does it feel to like see the drawing, 2D drawing, become 3-dimensional?
I'm addicted. Like making toys is like, I just want to keep making.
That's
them,
your
so,
thing?
Yeah.
Fucking A. I'm so glad that you did this with us. Where's the black Sharpie?
Maybe it's under here. No, that's orange. Oh,
Thank
coming in.
you. Excellent, man. Wow. I'm just going to say this before we've all seen the movie, but that was like Charlie Cox, Daredevil, and
See?
Spider-Man.
Also, I'm like staring right into the
Far
light.
From Home. You just caught that shit without even looking and
Use
shit.
the Force, Luke.
Am I tagging these?
Yeah, you can.
Can I tag Jay on the chest?
Yeah, go for it. You can do whatever you want.
Can I keep them? You're like, no.
Sure.
I'm going to put this one on the back. My God, they're fucking gorgeous.
Awesome, thank you.
I can't
I
wait
gotta
to have
get Jay
these in
to
the
sign
stash.
the J one as well.
The J?
Yeah, and also since I'm here, the Guru SQ, which is a print, is also going to be a toy as well.
That is going to be a toy for sure, man. I think I don't know if they started taking orders on it yet or.
No, not yet. In 2022, we're gonna, that's why I was like, should I bring them in? They're not available yet, but getting a preview.
Glad you did. I've seen somebody brought the print in, and I signed a print.
Yeah, the prints are available right now, so.
You can get the prints online, kids. And where at, Chogram? Where can you get it?
Sideshow Collectibles.
Sideshow Collectibles. That's where the prints are. And then you can also, I think, order the actual Guru SQ.
Yeah.
And these will be available next year from UVD.
UVD toys, and they will be available, I think, at different retailers as well. So.
Fucking dope. Give it up for an artist, man. Look at that shit. A bona fide artist, Chogram. Thank you, Captain. I'll leave your shit here, man. You can grab it on the way out. Nobody touches shit. Or you can grab it now. Don't trust these fucking people. Yeah. Smart plan.
A little drunk and high on titter tats.
Yeah, somebody will be like, this shit's mine, toy boy. All right, and there's big, I don't know if this is yours. The paper envelope, no. Oh, there's a plastic up here, too. All right, Banff, man.
What you got?
All right. A couple more comments. Julio Quesada said, ask Nate to do a poster of Kevin as Elvis and Mark as Little Richard for next show.
Nate, did you hear that? Personal request? That was fucking dope.
Nice.
And then to kind of end Elvis and tie it back into something that
And I just want
makes
to point
sense.
out to everybody, I stopped talking about Elvis a long time ago. Other people keep bringing him up now because he's infectious like that.
Yes.
So
got Preceptioned.
Kate Van D in chat said, please check out Suspicious Minds by Gwenda Bond. It's a canon novel from Stranger Things. It's about Eleven's mother and her time in the lab. Suspicious Minds being the Elvis song.
Oh.
So it ties into Stranger Things.
I mean, that's a stretch.
I mean,
All It Shares with Elvis is the title of a song?
I
thought you were going to be
I
like,
guess so.
Suspicious Minds is the real Elvis story. Like, where they tell you, like, his wrist blew up and the fucking bracelet broke.
Yep. Yeah, it did.
All right, enough about Elvis, dude. I don't want to get crucified online. People will be like, this fucking motherfucker, he ruined He-Man and he won't stop talking about Elvis.
First question for Q&A. Thomas D.
Thomas D, get your ass up here, man. As Thomas D makes his way up, I'll tell you what Thomas D is going to win if he, he's going to win if he gets asks us a question that produces an answer at all. Let's be honest, Thomas D is getting this shit regardless.
Yeah.
Number one, he's going to get this signed print from the good old Dark Nate himself. Nate Gonzalez does our show art every year, every episode, every week. And here's me and Mark as Daredevil and Kingpin. So you get one of those that's signed by me and Mark and Nate, the artist himself. And
Not one of those.
That's not that. I was like, we're giving out rub-offs? Then, of course, you're going to get some tickets, thanks to our good friend Brett Deacon, some 4DX tickets. Now, this ticket is fucking insanely valuable. How much is it to go see a 4DX movie? It's like $20.
$600.
$600 fucking dollars. And you're going to get to go for free. There's 2 of them right here. So that's a $1,200 value, ladies and gentlemen. So whoever asks questions like Tommy D here is going to walk away with a poster and going to walk away with tickets. We don't have any fucking Manscaped shit or anything this week.
Sorry, your balls are on your own.
No dick products for you and stuff. Although Blue Chew, I hear you could get for free. All right, my friend, shipping. What do you got for us?
All right, so
where are you from?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, right on. So this wasn't so much a hassle. JC is about to shove the mic into your face. There you go.
All right. So when you all were breaking the first season of Master of the Universe Revelation, did you all have like a rough idea where each character was going to end up, or do you have input from like the powers that be to tell you, no, this character is going to end up here?
A mixture of both. Like, I had parameters galore on the gig because it's not my characters and stuff. So there was a plan going in of like, let's take the 2 guys out so we can focus on all the characters and then bring the 2 guys fucking back in. The character arcs and stuff like that, it like improved from the outline because I went back and read my outline, and some shit is laid out very clearly in the outline, and then some shit came from everybody coming into the writer's room and going like, ooh, what if we did this? What if we did this? So I'm trying to think. Like, ultimately, it was a group effort, and we discovered it. Some things we knew, like Adam would get killed, but of course he'd come back. And of course, we knew Tila was going to become the sorceress. That was like a Mattel mandate from the beginning. They're like, we want her to become the sorceress, so that was a big part of our story. They wanted Adam to show a lot more Adam than we had shown in the past. They wanted to build up the character of Adam himself. They changed his appearance. He looks younger, like he did in the 2000 edition or whatever year that version came out. But definitely, there were some parameters where they were like, this is what we're going for, this is what we're going for. Things like Beastman's arc came together insanely collectively. Like, in fact, the spoilers or whatever the fuck, like him turning into, Battle Dog. Like, it started as a reference in the script that Tim Sheridan had written, where, Evelyn was like, I should turn you into my little battle dog, saddle and all. And the Powerhouse Animation kids sent us a design of Battle Dog. And we were like, oh, that's not literal. And they're like, we think it should be. This is fucking amazing. So, like, can't you have her, like the way Adam turns, Cringer into Battle Cat, turn Beastman into Battle Dog, like, because he's so in love with her, and he's just like, you asked me if I was man or beast, which was another line in the script. They were like, can't we call that line back? Like, in moments like that, you had directors whose job it is to draw the pictures and make sure the whole story's there, working as writers as well. They were just as fucking responsible for the storyline. And that's not me trying to like spread it around and be like, blame those fuckers. But I'm saying they brought something to the table as well, where even as like the head writer, I was like, well, I hadn't even thought about doing that. That's fucking clever. I like your show way better than fucking mine. So yeah, there were definitely things that we knew we were going to do, but then discoveries that we got to make along the way. But always with parameters. It was always bowling with bumpers in the gutters. Ball could never go in the gutter because there's Mattel and there's Netflix telling you exactly what they want. That was how I took it. You?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, there's always that mixture, especially with working with somebody else's characters of, yeah, you're not going to kill that dude, or you're not going to do that. But I remember discovering the Orko arc in the room, where it was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do like Orko the White?
And also the big thing was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could make Orko cool enough that people would get him as a tattoo? Because the general consensus was there were people that, of course, liked Orko, but a lot of people were like, that was the most irritating aspect of the fucking show. So we were like, what if we made him like, at first he plays the character they all know, but then he takes this fucking journey where he's weakened and shit, but then finds the inner courage and has this weird friendship with Lynn that like brings out the best in him, and then, sacrifices himself, but knowing that, of course, we can Orko the White him. Like, there was a lot of Lord of the Rings pulls and references for a project that was oversaw by a guy who was not a big Lord of the Rings fucking fan. Or not a fan, just I wasn't way familiar with the books or the movies. Like, so much so that these kids all the time, the other writers would be like, oh, we'll do it like this, just in this. And I was like, what is that? They're like, it's a Hobbit thing. I was like, oh, fucking a Hobbit.
Whatever. They're going to sing. No,
I was like, can't we just do a Star Wars thing? But, so yeah, back to you, sorry.
No, that's it. It's just, it's an always organic thing. And sometimes those bumpers are not bad. You know, the fact that you know, the absence of limitations is the enemy of art. Like, there's always the feeling that...
Say it again?
The absence of limitations is the enemy of art.
Say it again? Well, define that for me.
It means that if you could do whatever you wanted to do,
yes,
the art doesn't flourish as much as you have borders. What?
That's what's wrong with my career? I just keep doing whatever the fuck I want? That's how we get to yoga hosers.
It's the, like, we have enough money to shoot this thing in this place. It's got to be black and white. It's got to be this.
Oh, so I'm not that guy. I'm
right.
a clerk's guy who figured shit out.
There's always limitations unless you're like JJ, and you can have as much money as you want, as much time as you want, and the cash you want. But I'm sure even him, it's like, you got to hit this deadline. You got to hit this date. You got to hit this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a movie hegemony in as much as, like, you know, pecking order, and people are fucking city-states and other people are boroughs and shit. But at the end of the day, we all bow to the same rules, which is you've got this much fucking time and this much money. Go. Right. And it don't matter who you are. It don't matter if you're fucking Steven Spielberg. There's always the sword of Damocles of a ticking clock hanging over your head, and the sword of Damocles of, like, don't you go over this fucking budget figure. This is what it costs. If you go over that, you fucking failed.
Yeah, and that maxim, I think, applies to every kind of art. And ultimately, the limitations are our own talent to a certain degree, our own gifts. It's how do you take account, and how do you dodge around the fact that, like, hey, I'm a horrible artist. Well, I'm going to be a writer. Okay, you can do this. I'm horrible at romance. I'm going to do this. You know, if you're an artist, I'm horrible at hands or feet, so I'm going to be Rob Liefeld.
Or if you're... I got the second Rob Liefeld fucking dick. Or you could be like, look, I suck at everything. Ooh, I can be Kevin Smith. And that's your thing.
But limitations force you to be creative, because otherwise you would just do the first thing that comes to your mind. It doesn't make you interrogate. It doesn't make you iterate.
Do the easy thing.
You'll do the easy thing because it's there. But the limitations are what forces you to come up with a solution that you might not have already come up with. And so having somebody say, can't kill that dude, kill that dude, can't kill that lady, force you to say, well, how do we get drama out of it if that is not the thing we can do? All too often, death is an easy way of motivating story. But if you can't do that, then how do you make it still work? How do you make it dramatic? How do you make it emotional? How do you make it suspenseful if you know that they're not going to die? And I think that that's the challenge, and that's when it gets to win, because we've done the work. You know, you've earned the audience's trust and their desire to go with you because they found something new, just as we did in the room, that we didn't know we were going to find on the way in.
And necessity being the mother of invention, sometimes just by story need, you stumble into incredibly cool shit where you're like, nobody brought this to the table, nobody came into the room going, how about this, and whipping their big story dick out or something like that. But suddenly, because you've set up all these rules over here, it backs you into this fucking corner where you're like, oh shit, well, now we got to make sure this works out. And because of that, you discover something completely new, and the story gets better. It's an interesting process having bumpers, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, it's always the job of writing comics for like Marvel or DC is here's the character in the toy box. You can pick it up, you can play with it for a little bit, but the character goes back in the toy box pretty much as you found it. And so how can you make a thing that cannot change fun? You know, how do you live in the second act where there's no beginning and there's no end? There's just middle, but still make it interesting and making it, you know, dramatic and all of that stuff. And that's it can be, you know, head-bangingly frustrating, but it can also be incredibly liberating. Mm-hmm. And it's just finding that way through.
That is a great question that got great 2 answers. Give it up for him, man. He just won himself some cool shit.
Thank you. Well, what?
Tim Sheridan
Sheridan gave you the box?
Yeah, he gave me the box.
Tim Sheridan, one of our amazing fucking writers,
sure.
gave him that box, the sweet ass fucking Masters of the Universe Revelation box, one of which I did not get myself. They wanted me to sign this because it says 37 on it. That's adorable. On their scratch off. You lost though, right? Well, I don't know if I sign it, it may negate it. They may be like, you fucking graffitied that shit. I know, but that's $3, man. How's Jane? Where's she? Fair enough. Just tell her I didn't feel good tonight, but I still fucking came. I didn't feel good tonight because I made my first batch of hummus tonight, earlier today. My own hummus. I'm finally free of the fucking shackles of the fucking hummus industrial complex. Why? Because I want to be the master of my own destiny, not fucking leaving it all up to Sabra and shit like that, man. I want to be able to feed my goddamn self. So Leron, who's our DP on Clerks 3, taught me how to make hummus, as he calls it. And my God, it turned out fucking wonderful. I do say so myself. So much so that I ate way too much of it, so I'm farty and fucking full of hummus. But I'll tell you right now, when the show's over, I'm gonna eat the other half of that fucking bucket, man. Because it's food I made. I made that food, Mark. Me. I was the one that put my hands together, made a fucking meal. Now, somebody on Twitter was like, you pressed a button on a blender, fucko. Yes, they stole my fucking shine, but they can't steal the taste of the hummus. It tastes so good.
When I was a kid, I had a neighbor, very lovely woman, who like made a bunch of her own foods, and not like a person who cooks, but like, I'm making peanut butter. And I'm like, why?
I can get behind that. That sounds fun.
No, it's awful.
They do it at Whole Foods. You could sit there and make your own peanut butter. You just grind
Fuck
it.
that. Jif that shit. Because I for real don't want some improvised oil-based peanut sauce.
Can we please get Jif as a sponsor of the show and have Mark's catchphrase be like, fuck that, Jif that shit.
Jif that shit.
Jif for serious fuckers.
She used to make ketchup, and it was the worst fucking thing. I'm like, it's right. They did it for you already. They perfected it. Like, cause she was like, I don't believe in all of the sugar and salt they put in. It's like, but that's why it tastes good.
That reminds me of
Bullshit ketchup water.
Vacation when they go to Cousin Eddie's house, and fucking Clark goes to use the ketchup, and he pulls out the spoon, and it's got like seeds, and he goes, real tomato ketchup, Eddie? And he goes, nothing but the best. And he made his own fucking ketchup. And
No, it's garbage water.
Well, my hummus turned out great, is all I'm fucking saying.
Good for you.
But
just
I
stay downwind.
I didn't. Yes, I've been trying to clench all night long. But I felt like kind of ill. But I was like, the show must go on. So tell Jane next time.
Weak sauce.
Yeah, fucking. She can't. If I can make it here, so full of hummus, I'm ready to vomit. She was like, if he talks about Elvis, it will tear my heart apart. All right, where are we going next?
Kristen?
Kristen, get up here and ask us some shit. Give it up for
Woo!
Kristen. Should point out we signed a bunch of prints, and we were given two that are behind us. Chris McDonald did these lovely fucking prints of us doing Fat Man Beyond, and it's me. And it's you, and it's fucking Banff Man popping in like Nightcrawler. Banffing in and shit.
I signed it, but I didn't even see it. What am I doing?
You signed a bunch of shit, didn't even look at it and shit? Good thing it wasn't like an insurance contract.
Oh, so I just signed, and me being an alcoholic is what I just signed.
It's a drawing of you being drunk, and you're wearing your be humble but let motherfuckers know.
Yeah, and you're signing a bunch of shit and just looking at it funny? And Banff Man is appearing out of nowhere. Like, I drink, like I had a drink. I had two, maybe.
That's what you get out of this beautiful artwork? You're like, I am not a drunk.
I like that you're drinking Skywalker wine with a straw in it.
Class.
I'm classy. Yes.
Banff Man, you're in the piece. I know that always makes you feel happy. You're like, I like to be included.
I think it's
somewhere Andrew is rolling a tear going, what the fuck?
Where's my participation trophy?
I think it's my first fan art. Like that somebody put me in and then printed one and was like, this is for you. Like they gave me a copy.
Fucking A.
You popped your cherry!
Yeah, you're going to get it framed?
I probably will. I sent it to Jen and she's like, that's really cool. I was like, it'll go in the house.
Fucking A.
Not that cool.
Put it up in your bar.
Yeah.
That's dope. All right, let's over to you. What's your name again?
I'm Kristen.
Everyone give it up for Kristen, man. She's been waiting to ask this question all night long. Kristen, what can we do you for?
All right, so hi, Kevin and Mark. I have a double question.
Double question.
So, Kevin, what is the best acting advice you gave Harley? And Mark, as a new director, what is the best acting advice you have? So, yeah, double question.
Best acting advice I gave my kid. It was less advice and more a stern warning. I said, don't fucking blow anybody. She took me very seriously.
Valid.
No, big advice I gave her was just like, oh my God, do it. Like, act. Make pretend for a living. What could be better than that? And, you know, my wife wanted her to go to college. And Harley was indicating she didn't want to go to college. And Jennifer was like, you got to back me up, man. She's got to go to college and shit. Because, like, acting, how often does that work out for people? And I'm like, you're talking to somebody it worked out for. Like, I can't literally advise my kid in a way that I would not have advised young Kevin Smith at her same age. Like, I tried to go to college and stopped because I realized it wasn't for me. Why make her do that? Like, if she's not going to be into it, like, if she knows what she wants to do in life, let's let her lean into it and stuff. So, you know, Jen kind of pushed college for a good, like, 2 years, and I was the one, not saying, like, fuck your mother, ignore her, but I was just like, I get what you're doing, man. Like, I'm all for it. Like, and so much so, I was really irresponsible because she's like, I don't even need high school anymore. I was like, you're right, quit at age 16. And my wife was like, you're fucking nuts. And I was like, no, Clerks worked out. She's like, for you. She's not going to make Clerks and shit. But I was like, yeah, but if she's going to, like, wants to follow her fucking passion, that's how I got here. That's literally how I met you. That's how the girl came into this world. So I got to support her on that. So that was it. I was just like, look, do it. If you want to do it, commit to it and fucking do it. Don't listen to anybody else. You know best. This is your one and only fucking life. And up till now, we've been in charge of it to make sure that you don't fucking die. That's our job, to keep you alive. Now you're a grown-ass adult and you can start making decisions for your own. If this is what you want to pursue with your life, and your life is young right now, which means that, like, fucking 10 years from now, if you change your mind, you'll still be fucking young enough to do that. But if this is what you're feeling, fucking go for it, 100%, man, because stranger things have happened. It works out for people. Plus, I know a director who'll cast you in every fucking thing he makes, so you'll have that. And she was like, great, fucking Kevin Smith movies. But yeah, I was big into, like, please, just do it. Don't not do it. Don't listen to anybody. A lot of people. She went to a school that was all college prep, like, and there are only 2 people that ever graduated from her high school that didn't go on to college. And when my kid didn't want to apply to colleges, they brought Jen in, sat her down, and they were like, you have to sign off on the fact that your kid doesn't want to apply anywhere, because this school has a long storied tradition of placing people in college. This is a college prep program and stuff. And my wife was like, you know, I had to sit there. I was on tour. She was like, I had to sit there and be lectured, and I want her to go to fucking college and shit. You should have been there. It's like, I wish I would have been there. I would have been like, yeah, that is true. That's one way to look at it. And the other way is just like, her dad made Clerks. How the fuck could she possibly go to college? Like, so I told her to lean into it. And it's panned out. She's happy and she works and stuff like that. So seemed like good advice. You?
I think it's a lesson I learned, I think in like my first or second writer's room. And I think it applies both to writers building characters and actors building characters, which is everybody lies at least half the time. And so when you're writing a character and how they enter the world and how they greet other people, even how they feel about themselves, they are almost never 100% honest about it. You know, we all tell ourselves little lies all the time, and we tell everybody else little lies all the time. And so when you are building a character, when you're starting to do that kind of interior work, even if it's physicality, even if it's just a mindset, just remember, this person's probably lying about it. And so as time goes on, if the story is worth its salt, we'll begin to reveal those lies over time. I remember listening to an interview with Damon Lindelof about Lost, and he said that, you know, when they were writing the pilot, he and JJ decided that every character would have a secret, and that at some point we would find the truth about that secret. That Sawyer's problem was that his mother, you know, was killed by a con man, and so he decided to be the con man. That, like, all of those things began to add up to who those characters were, and it's the thing they don't tell anybody, the thing they don't even really admit to themselves at some point, but it informs and animates and fuels everything that they do. And so just that little bit of kind of human scholarship, I guess, of inauthenticity from a character perspective is as important as authenticity. From the, I'm not going to be honest with anybody. You know, how you doing? Pretty good. Always a lie. You know, I lean into it. How are you? I'm outstanding. I'm like, really? No, nobody's outstanding. Have you been in the world?
My standard response, people are like, how are you? I'm like, so good. And, you know, every third person is like, oh, so good. Why? They want to know why. and
Yeah.
shit.
It's like, really? No, I'm not outstanding. I'm fine.
I mean it, though, when I say so good.
I know. Well, you're usually high.
Helps to give an easy,
It
honest
helps.
answer.
But yeah,
They
just,
smell me, they're like, oh, I understand.
I get it. But yeah, just in that, you know, I don't really have the tools yet to give, like, for real acting advice. Like, faster, more intense. George Lucas School of Acting.
Yeah, don't point at me like that's my direction. I
No,
don't
because
do
we
that.
made a joke about it.
We did earlier, but when you
That's-
were like,
It was a
thank
call-
God you said George Lucas, because I was going to quickly be like, he's talking about George Lucas. He's not pointing at
Yeah.
me and meaning I do that.
Callback. But I think that lots of the creation of character is similar from a writing perspective as it is from an acting perspective. Who is this character? What do they want? What are they willing to do to get it? And how honest are they about themselves along that path? And so just tuck it away. Like, maybe it'll come in handy, maybe it won't. But just like, what's this person lying about?
Yeah, I'm gonna start making little secrets.
Yeah, fuck
Keep
it.
it with me.
Oh, fucking don't. Is that what you got out of what he said?
I mean,
Making little
Don't
secrets.
listen to him. Don't
I've
lie to
other
people. Not everyone you meet lies to you. In fact, everything I told you about Elvis tonight, totally true.
Or is it?
Yeah, we'll find out
Precisely.
when we read that book, Suspicious Minds, that Mark was talking about.
I wasn't talking about it. You lied.
I know, you're a good point. Like Mark said, we all lie.
A little bit.
Excellent question. That deserves a poster and tickets. Give it up for our ladies
Thank you,
and gentlemen.
guys.
Well
Thanks
done.
Thank you.
Enjoy. All right, JC, that's two. 2 of 3. We have
Okay.
1 poster and 2 tickets left.
Okay, and I apologize for my pronunciation. Imran? Ah,
That's good
he says I got
pronunciation.
You did it?
All right.
He did it right. Give it up for Imran. How are you, Captain?
Pretty good. How are you?
So fucking good.
Congrats to both. Clerks 3, Splinter Short.
Thank you.
Awesome
Welcome
year.
aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, my question is, what is a film or TV show that you return to in order to process an emotion? So, like, for example, Swingers if you're going through a breakup, Pursuit of Happiness to be inspired, WandaVision for grief this year, positive, negative emotion, whatever.
I have gone back to WandaVision just to get that, like, rush of grief. Like, sometimes I love misery porn in my entertainment, in my music. If something's going to make me feel something make me cry, something make me go, oh my God, like, I'll seek it out and watch it again and again. One of my favorite movie moments of all time, and the way I understand it, this for men of a certain age, this carries across to a lot of people, is Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams oh my God, I'm gonna cry doing it, speaking to his father and like having a very like kind of normal conversation about like, is this heaven? And he's like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And his dad is like, Kevin Costner finally breaks down. You hear his voice crack and he goes, Dad, you wanna have a catch? And he's like, I would love that. And they fucking start playing catch. Still fucking destroyed. I don't give a fuck about baseball. Never have, but baseball movies make me fucking cry. Moneyball makes me fucking cry. The ending of Moneyball, when they go over that clip of like what baseball means about the guy who like, you know, it's that play and he's like, everybody's laughing and shit, but that fucking play was like this huge moment. Just fucking destroys me. The Bad News Bears is a movie that emotionally fucking destroys me. I don't have much connection to baseball. I find the game boring, but baseball movies really fucking do it for me for some reason. So yeah, there's a lot of art that I go to just make me go like, you know, get the heart fucking pumping. And it also gets me going and shows up in my work where I'm like, ooh, I want to fucking do some of that. The Succession season finale this year, they had a great year, and the season finale was stunning fucking piece of entertainment, and that had me like emotionally engaged as well. Like you felt you have to be. I know like a lot of people talked about the Jeremy Strong fucking New Yorker profile and shit, but you would have to be a robot not to feel for his performance of Kendall in that episode as he broke down when he was just like, I'm in a million pieces. Like, you know, that's a performance you could fucking feel coming right out of the TV, and you shouldn't even feel bad for this fucking billionaire rich kid. Yeah. But his performance is so fucking compelling, it just fucking takes you there. So yeah, those are just a few that fucking do it for me. Field of Dreams is an absolute fucking go-to. WandaVision, I returned to that last episode over and over again, particularly for when, you know, we will see each other again. Oh, that fucking destroys me. So yeah, I'm a fan of that kind of shit, a big time. I don't know about you.
Every day when I was driving to the set to shoot the short, at some point on the drive-in, I would play "What's Up, Danger."
No.
And because that scene in that movie is not about a guy being not afraid. It's about a guy being afraid and doing it anyway. You know, it's why when he's pulling away, the glass breaks in his hand. Like he's not yet ready to let go, but knows that he has to. And so that feeling of being on the edge of something that you're not quite ready for, but you go anyway. Like every day, it's like, fuck yeah, what's up, Danger? Let's fucking go, let's go make a movie. Because I wasn't sure, you know, but that's the job of living, right? Like doing shit that you're afraid of, but doing it anyway. That's what courage is. You know, it's not action in spite of fear. It's action in the face of fear. And so, not that I was brave for making a fucking movie, but you make your choice and then you try to be the person you're supposed to be in that moment. And so that feeling of, you know, all you needed is to believe for a second that you could be that person and let go of that wall and then soar or fall, either one, but you let go. And so that's what kind of powered me through the front end of that. And then by the end, I was just a mess anyway, so it all panned out. But
I would say, though, that the tweet was brave, the one that you reposted. Putting it out there like that.
You know, I do not in any way mean to denigrate the heroism of people who are like firemen or police officers or whatever. But like when a fireman goes or a firefighter goes into a building and saves somebody's life, that's not the moment they're a hero. The moment they're a hero is when they sign on the line to become a firefighter in the first place. Because then you know that's the job. Like you're doing the job you signed up to do, but you signed up to do it. Like that's the moment when you're a fucking hero. And so, you know, making the movie, I suppose, was just a connective tissue to that original thing of like, I want to do this, I'm going to put it into the world so the world holds me accountable. You know.
It's just the manifestation of the thing that you were dead set on doing.
Yeah.
Like it was happening regardless, and when you would make the thing, that was just a formality.
Yeah, it's the end of that road that you started down to begin with. And, you know, at any point you could back away and nobody would hold it against you. Like it's hard and it's a long shot. But so much of life is hard and a long shot that you just kind of have to bet on yourself at some point. And don't let the fear keep you from doing the thing that you want to do. Because everybody's afraid and everybody's, you know, uncertain and unfounded and they feel like they're on shaky ground. But people get it done anyway. And so act as if you're the person who can do that.
Like Elvis.
Like Elvis.
What a great question. What a great answer. Give it up for him. Get yourself your tickets and your poster. Well done, Imran. Excellent job. Endgame. Tony Stark dying also is a go-to emotional moment for me. Spoilers, sorry. In case people are holding out for Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home. The fucking snap alone, you know, when the glove's on his hand, you're like, it's a real like audience cheer kind of moment. His fucking like, you know, and I am Iron Man, and he fucking viciously snaps at him, which I fucking love to death. It's the biggest fuck you. He's like he wants to hurt this fucker. But watching him fucking like die and not respond to like Spider-Man, oh my God, that destroys me each time when Pepper starts talking to him. She's like, I'm such a pussy. Can't help it. It's so fucking emotional. And then when you watch that like helmet cam, and he's like, "I love you 3000," and he fucking pieces out. That will do it for me every time. The end of Cinema Paradiso, when the director watches the montage of all the kisses that were cut out of all the movies, like, oh my God, I just weep like a child each time. And those are go-tos for me. If I want to write something emotional, generally I could get in touch with my emotions pretty easily, obviously, but if I really want to gild the lily, I will watch something that just fucking makes me fucking cry and then be like, now I'm going to take this shit out on others, and fucking spread my pain and stuff. I love that. What makes you cry? Like, what movies and TV shows where you go back to them, you're like, oh, I fucking love that.
There's an episode of The West Wing that I watch every Thanksgiving. It's called Shibboleth. It's the 7th or 8th episode of the 2nd season. And it's the big part of the episode is like there's a bunch of Chinese refugees who have come in like a container ship, and much of the episode is about like how they deal with that problem and how you can divine whether or not a person is actually under religious persecution or whether they just want to escape a totalitarian regime, whatever. There's a tiny C story. It's like it's a 3-beat story in this whole episode about the president's assistant, Charlie, played by Dule Hill, who's trying to buy a knife for his boss to carve a turkey. And it's a comedy bit. Like every time he'll go out, it's like, I got the new knife. And Martin Sheen as the president will be like, all right, let's take a look. Ooh, it's tapered along the blade, allows for complete sharpening, whatever. I don't think I want a Japanese knife. You want a German one? Want a German one. Then Charlie will go away and come back. It's like, I got this one for you. It's like, I don't know about it. I'm not sure. And then the 3rd beat, Charlie goes, brings another knife. And the president's like, I'm not sure. I don't like it. And Charlie goes, with all due respect, sir, these mean a lot to you, clearly. Don't you already have a knife? And he's like, I do. So then why do you need a new one? Well, I'm giving this one away. To whom? It's like, funny you should ask. And then he brings out the box with a knife. I'm going to get choked up talking about it. He brings the box with a knife, got a little bow around it. He's like, Charlie, I'm proud of you. He's like, I just want to let you know. And he's like, oh, wow. I don't recognize the make, because he's been researching knives all fucking episode. And he's like, all I see is on the box it says PR. He's like, well, these knives are made for my family by a Boston silversmith named Paul Revere. It's like, he gave Charlie the knife? Every Thanksgiving I watch that and I cry in my turkey every fucking year. Because it's just...
You got me a little misty, even though I'm like, what is he fucking talking about? But your emotion caught up to me. I was like, oh,
the story of these two guys, like Charlie, was just wanted a messenger job. And he shows up at the White House and suddenly he's the personal assistant to the president. And the president has no sons. Charlie's parents are gone, and it's just him and his sister. And this like slow building of this relationship between these two. And this is the first time you see what Charlie means to the president, as opposed to what the president means to Charlie. And just the depth of that gift, and the fact that it's a fucking comedy beat that you don't think is going to hurt you until it's a fucking sucker punch to the nuts when he's like, I'll give you this knife, Charlie. Paul Revere made it for my family. I love this show so much. Every year I watch it. My wife is like, could you watch like another thing? No.
Bamf.
Oh.
Yes.
I'll give you my 2, which make me cry, but it's not the emotional cry of like Field of Dreams. It's like a release cry.
Okay.
Which was...
I like those. Cathartic crying is really powerful shit.
For years, we got teased with Cap getting Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
And I just watched Endgame 3 days ago, and I fast-forwarded to that part because I had 2 kids helping me pack boxes at the house. And I was like, you want to see my TV? And they're like, yeah, let's see the big TV. I just got a big TV. And I put it on. I'm with these 2 22-year-old kids. And I'm like, oh, shit. Because I am crying.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's a big TV. And I'm like, but you got that. Like, there's just something about, like, when he grabs it and then Hemsworth's like, I knew it, that gets me every time. Yeah. And then the other one that got me was I rewatched just the scene where Luke Skywalker showed spoilers in Mando season 2.
That will reduce a grown-up, any grown-up of a certain age who grew up with fucking Luke Skywalker as their childhood hero to absolute tears. It was the, fucking promise of that we thought we were getting with the last trilogy, and they delivered on Mandalorian instead to be like, look at your childhood hero, look at what he can still do, look at he became a Jedi Master. Like, that's what I loved about it. I was like, I was so invested in this motherfucker's training, and he left early, and fucking Yoda warned him and shit, and then eventually Yoda was like, I was kidding, you're a real Jedi, but like,
I just fucking with you.
yeah, this was all good. That was the last movie. I'm dying now, fuck it. But then eventually, like, we got to see him be the Jedi Master, not like the guy still going through shit and fucking Return of the Jedi and saving his dad at the last minute, but just a fucking Jedi Knight who, like, takes out a room full of people the way his dad did in the hallway sequence on Rogue One is incredibly powerful.
I walked into the house and Jen was like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? And immediately I'm like, well, Luke shows up and fuck, that came out 2 years ago. What's the matter with you? Like, well, I just watched it again.
I still get really fucking dusty at the Iron Giant.
Oh, Superman.
You know, like I remember I was in a screening room. I was at Entertainment Weekly. It was like 1999. Nobody knew anything about this movie. Like, it was this very under the radar thing. And I went because I'm a nerd, and it's fucking Brad Bird, who I liked, and it's, you know, fucking an animated movie. So I'm gonna go. I remember sitting in that screening room with like 3 other people, and like kind of just bopping along with this. Oh, this is cool. This is fun. And then when Iron Giant thinks that Hogarth is dead, and he goes fucking metal, and you see like a robot crying, like he's like huddled over, and he's like, and then he like activates, and I started to fucking weep. Like, not even the Superman. The Superman was just the fucking icing on the cake, but that push into fury, into despondence,
turning him into a gun.
There is no reason for me to have a connection to humanity because you took the one thing that I loved away, and he just like going fucking ham on an army, just exploding tanks and like sending nukes into the water and all of it until Hogarth isn't dead, and like he's reminded that there's some good left in the world that's worth saving, and then you get the Superman moment. I was a mess for those like 8 minutes of just like, I don't know what's happening. This would never. Oh, he's a gun? This is cool and sad and courageous and bleak all at once. And then just walked out of that screening room with the other 3 people going, did you see that fucking movie? And like, I know. Is anybody else going to see this movie? Probably not. It's opening against The Matrix.
Is that what happened?
I think it got swallowed by the rest of the world.
Because that was also a Warner Brothers movie.
It was also a Warner Brothers movie, and they had like no confidence in it. So they just dropped it and let it go. And it has this life on video and then DVD and then on cable, and then it's become what it was always meant to be, which is a classic.
He's such a gifted storyteller, Brad Bird. I'll like, one of my favorite sequences in a movie of all time, and I will watch it over and over again. It's emotional, but not where you like cry and shit, but you are so fucking gripped, is the missile lock sequence in The Incredibles. Still a fucking, I mean, it's a fucking cartoon. And a cartoon mom who fucking stretches and turns into like a raft and shit like that. And somehow it is one of the most thrilling sequences ever in a movie where she's like, you know, their children are on aboard. And you're like, these fuckers are going to send missiles at the ship. And she's like, get in the bag and like buckle your seatbelt. Like, it is so fucking intense.
Violet, I need you to make a force field around us right now. It's like, I can't. I can't, Mom.
Love that. And she's like, Violet, you have to do it. Holly Hunter is so fucking good in that scene, man. It's such an incredible sequence. And they blow the fucking plane up.
Yeah.
And let them fucking like drop to the ground. The kids are like screaming. That movie gets so fucking real so quick in that sequence.
This is India Gulf 909, and we are bunny spiked. I don't know what any of those words mean.
Yeah.
But I know that it's bad.
Abort.
And then Craig T. Nelson is fucking Mr. Incredible, is like held up on the thing, like listening to his family get incinerated in midair.
I want to go watch both The Iron Giant and The Incredibles like back to back until 2 a.m. and shit, and just be like crying my eyes out. Like, God, life is so beautiful. That's what we do here on this show, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about shit that happened years ago and make it feel like it just happened yesterday and shit. Like from the Iron Giant to Elvis himself. This was a classic oldies sentimental show. And the last one of the year, last live show of the year.
Last live show of the year. We might do a show next week, a Zoom show, because we have to talk about Spider-Man.
That's right. So we'll definitely do, let's say we'll definitely do a home show. But this is the last time we get to do it in the room, for 2021. How many times do you think we did it in the room over 2021? When did we start doing it with people back in the room?
We did a couple in June, then Clips
by the
3.
summer. Oh, yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe 10?
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Next year we'll do better.
Look, I'm shocked we did it at all. I'm always so delighted when people are like, I'll risk a fucking Omicron to go out and fucking laugh at this motherfucker's dad jokes and shit like that. Means the world that you all come out and join us here, everybody here in the room. Means the world that folks watch at home, of course, and stuff. But folks that are like, man, I'll go. That seems like fun. Sometimes you got a bunch of regulars, people who are here all the time, which is wonderful. And then sometimes you get people who are like, I've just watched it forever and it seemed like a good time. And then they tell you that they had a good fucking time and stuff.
And then people travel from all over the country and at times all over the world to come and sit in this bar with us as we tell dick jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of beautiful, man.
Isn't it?
So thank you for that. And your faith and fellowship has allowed one of us to go fucking direct his first feature. Give it up for director Marc Bernardin, ladies and gentlemen.
And there are some of the people in this room who helped make that happen. So again, thank you to everybody who was a Kickstarter supporter, who was a background player, and who decided to come and watch us do a dumb show.
He's quick with a Sharpie and many factoids, ladies and gentlemen. One day we're going to get a camera back there on him and stuff so you can see him as he cucks out on the rest of the show. Give it up for Andrew. He's in the back, man. He deserves your love. We don't have a fucking place to do this show without man himself. Give it up to the proprietor of the Scum and Villiany Cantina right here in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard, Mr. JC himself.
And we're the pre-show for Hawkeye. By the time everybody gets home, Hawkeye's going to be on. So you're welcome.
I don't know if I might watch The Incredibles and Iron Giant before I go into Hawkeye, because I'm really feeling it right now. If you're out here on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing the last Hollywood Babylon of the year over at Flappers, the comedy club in Burbank, our very first debut over there, me and Ralph and stuff. So come on out and see us on Saturday night if you're into that. Failing that, don't forget to watch Hawkeye in about 10 minutes. Have you been watching Yellow Jackets?
I've seen the pilot. I'm catching up on the rest. I'm digging it.
Dope. It is so good. They're up to episode 5. It's so fucking good. Watch Yellow Jackets. I got no skin in the game other than it's fucking pretty damn good show and stuff. But there would be no show for us here to talk about tonight were it not for the guy standing to my left. Give it up for director Marc Bernardin. Air director Marc Bernardin. And that is Fat Man on Batman for this Batman Beyond.
Drink!
All I'm thinking about right now is hummus, so I forgot the name of the show. That is Fat Man Beyond for this week. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next week. Same fat time, same fat channel, smodcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jeff's Kiss, ladies and gentlemen. Mwah!
Happy New Year.
This is from the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Kissing you!